Danfo offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo, Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Live from Lagos, Nigeria. Nigeria. I'm here in Lagos, having a great time here in Lagos. You guys know how much I love Nigeria. If only they could bring Sierra Leonean and Senegalese restaurants here to Nigeria, Nigeria would be heaven. It's still heaven, but it would really be heaven with Sierra Leonean and Senegalese restaurants. But without further ado, hit that like button, make sure you share, and make sure you subscribe. Let me read some of these comments. I just heard a YouTuber say with his entire chest that the reason why immigrants should get a piece of Black America's reparations is because we wouldn't have advanced in any way without them. Well, from what it seems, there's no reparations that's coming anytime soon. I mean, things could change, but I mean, even the FBA Black Caucus shut down reparations. So I don't know. From getting out of slavery to civil rights to the Black Power movement, none of that would have happened without. Well, I mean, without Black immigrants. I mean, well, let me say this. Who funded a lot of, like, the civil rights movement? Okay, who funded it? In fact, let me look this up real quick because I want to get the facts right. Let's hear. Who funded the civil rights movement? You know what? So I gotta. Let me ask this specific question, guys. Give me a second, because I'm gonna have to walk back some of the stuff I said. So okay, it was primarily funded by Black Americans along with Jews, but you know, we always talk about how Jews played a large part in the funding of the civil rights movement, but you know, it was largely funded by it was multifaceted. There we go. But still, Black Americans primarily funded the civil rights movement. So, you know, right? But you're right. You're correct. You're correct. You know, they played a large part in funding, but it was still primarily funded by Black Americans, the civil rights movement. But guys, hit that likes button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Also, please stream my documentary, you guys. If you have not streamed my documentary yet, you need to go. And so, duality, that's what we talked about yesterday. Why didn't they fund the NOI or the UNIA? Again, why didn't they fund the UNIA or whatchamacallit, the NOI? That's a good question. We asked that yesterday too. But make sure you visit documentary.search for Huru, documentary.search for Huru, and y'all buy the documentary, okay? Again, go and buy the documentary. Right. So the NAACP, which was founded in large part by Jews, along with W. Du Bois, who was anti-Gar. I think W. Du Bois was helped found the NAACP, and yes, he was anti-Garvey. But again, guys, go and support the documentary. Also, here in Nigeria currently, we are rolling to Zanzibar and Kenya next month. And then we are also going to Ghana and Ivory Coast in November, as well as Sierra Leone November as well. And then in January, we're going to Benin Republic for the Voodoo Festival. So if you're interested in joining us, please visit danfo.africa. Again, if you're interested in joining us, please visit danfo.africa to learn more. We'll love to host you guys on one of our excursions. Again, we'll love. Here we go. Right button. Here we go. Bam. We'll love to host you guys on one of our excursions. But the topic today is when FBA claims that Black immigrants are destiny swapping, what does that mean? What is a destiny swap? Again, what does that mean? I'll put the link in the chat room, but what are they actually trying to swap out? So when you say destiny swapping, like what does that mean? Like, I don't understand that. Link is in the chat room. I'll just the movie Get Out. I never seen Get Out. Never seen it. Yeah, never seen Get Out. Like, what are they actually trying to take? Like, and give me facts. All right. Okay, here's M. M's coming. Come on, M. Come through, M. What is destiny swapping, M?
All right, thank you, sir. I'm out here at this laundromat real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was unnecessary information, but hold on. Yeah, the movie Get Out with Daniel Kaluuya, who played in Black Panther. The whole premise was it was white people who wanted black bodies. So they had a method, they call it the sunken place, where they actually take over your body while you actually a prisoner of your own body. And they're running around as if they're you, enjoying your youth, your prowess, your physical acumen. So the whole movie was basically a white woman was kidnapped and used like seducing black men and bringing them to their home, and then they just drug them and then take over their body using hypnosis or some type of witchcraft.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think that was like a allegory to Africans. And then the next movie he put out was called Us, which the tethered word came from, which they had like this subterranean clones who wanted to take over the people who were there. I think you mentioned the doppelgangers that was on the surface. And then at the end, it was found that one of the people actually the wife actually was one of the underground people. And the head villain was actually a upground, a human who led the uprising. So they did destiny swap. and it was playing I Got Five on You, playing the music. So it was a play on them actually taking advantage of black culture and just putting it on as if it was their clothes. But I want to say this though. I think Africans know something about Black Americans that they don't really tell us, but they kind of tell us without telling us, because I could never explain the like unnecessary, unprovoked vitriol that they just spew towards us, like as if we did something to them.
Well, where are you getting this from? I mean, it's just like I'm in Nigeria right now. I mean, as I live my life in America, where are you getting this from?
When I listen to this show, I tune into this show, I think about, I don't know if it was 10 years ago, but it was just a bunch of Jamaican, Haitians, and Africans spewing hatred against Black Americans way back then. And I'm listening to them.
But they don't represent the collective.
But it's like, okay, it's almost as if every time they tune in to a conversation, the majority is spewing negativity. Like, say, for instance, this show, you have Afrik, he calls, and he's kind of in the middle. He's like moderate, but he still kind of co-sign with the BS.
Like what? Give me an example. Give me an example.
Like CD. Oh, what Black Americans getting killed? Nipsey Hussle. He started a show. He got killed by Black Americans, and yeah, stuff like that. And then when the dude
is he lying?
Listen, Nipsey Hussle was a 60s Crip. He was gang banging. He called the guy a snitch. He said if he wanted to survive, he had to give up. You can't walk. You can't be on. They say you can't have God on your. You can't walk with God that has a devil on your porch on your couch. So he should have gave up being a 60s Crip, but he wanted to play it both ways, and it came back to him. Like that's just what the culture of California. It has really nothing to do with him being like a Eritrean coming back and building a grocery store or a convenience store in the ghetto. He was gang banging against. I ain't gonna curse, but Ishi Cubs called him a snitch in front of his girlfriend. Like we know, like usually Black men don't disrespect each other because it could come with serious consequences. Unless you're ready to deal with them consequences, it's best to walk. What's that word I'm looking for? I would say walk cautiously, because you never know what the next man is willing to do and what's going on in his head. And a dude could just take you out for any little thing. So we really kind of be careful how we talk to each other. But I guess Nipsey Hussle, he's not really. I guess his mother's from us. He kind of grew up in California, but it's still something that we kind of know. If you're gonna talk to a guy like that, calling him a snitch in front of his face and his girl, you better be willing to either take him out or he's gonna take you out. That just comes with the game. But by him just bringing up random situations like Malcolm X got killed by a Black person, you can't blame that on white people. And I guess yes, Africa did kind of push back when I listened to the show. A second, he pushed back against that, so you can't just say all white people is good. But when you look at Africa, though, we could say the same thing. Liberia, y'all went and killed all these Liberians. All these Black Americans go to Ghana, end up missing. All these Black Americans end up missing in Africa. But y'all don't. I'm not gonna say y'all because I know you're a Black American, but they don't really bring up both sides of the spectrum. They're gonna make it seem like only Black Americans take each other out and don't really look in the mirror and look at their own flaws as if they're flawless. But I never really understood the unprovoked hate that they just spew. Like, you see what I'm saying? Where does it come from?
I just, again, the opinions of a few, a few doesn't represent the majority.
I mean, saying for instance, Blacks are lazy. There's like a consensus amongst
Africans. Golly, but again, not all of them say that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you hear more saying it than not. Like, you really rarely hear positive verbiage coming from African people when it comes to Black Americans. They really don't.
That's not true. Let me read the super chat. Charcoal Black, thank you for 1999. Holla. Destiny swapping in the FBA context is a non-FBA attempting to attach themselves to the historical achievements of FBA under the guise of black. Give me an example of them trying to attach themselves to the historical achievements. Give me. I just want an example. That's all.
You're talking to the person in the chat.
That they fought? Are they now saying that they fought in the Civil War? I mean, the Buffalo Soldiers. I mean, give me an example.
I heard yesterday the guy mentioned that Dr. Martin Luther King was somehow inspired by Donna's liberation movement. So they're trying to somehow.
Okay, you know what? And I agree. He was wrong. It was the other way around.
He's trying to take credit for the Dr. King movement.
Ooh,
now they're
right. He was wrong. So it was the other way around. So you're right on that one.
And then Malcolm X, his mother, I think Grenadian or something like that. But his father was like a Baptist preacher, I think a Garveyite. But the people from the Caribbean is trying to take credit for Malcolm X as if he didn't have a black father. As if he wasn't raised in a foster home, he was Detroit Red. Like, it's like they want to just latch on to people who they feel has some type of prestige. If they have a little bit of black blood, I mean, African, or even if they could say it was some type of inspiration, they'll just claim that person and say, oh, we built America. Or they say immigrants. They use a moniker, immigrants, right? They say when the white people got a talking point, America was built by immigrants. So by them being an immigrant, they're going to latch on to that and say, oh, we built America because we're immigrants. Even though the Caucasians are talking about the people that came from Ellis Island and the Mayflower.
Hey, you know what? Well, hold on. I gotta walk that back. Yes. Martin Luther King Jr. was deeply inspired and influenced by Kwame Nkrumah and the successful anti-colonial movement Nkrumah led in Ghana. So I think it goes both ways with that, though. I think it goes both ways. So I got to kind of walk that back. We'll just say it was
I could see what they're saying.
We'll say they inspired each other. There we go. That's fair.
It's like Gandhi.
That's fair.
It's like Gandhi, right? Gandhi's nonviolent resistance against the British. So they usually associate Gandhi.
Well, MLK Jr. was definitely inspired by Gandhi. That's a fact. MLK Jr. was definitely inspired by Gandhi. That's true.
Now, who's to say Nkrumah wasn't? And Nkrumah lived in America for 10 years. Like, I would like to read some of his memoirs.
Well, like I said, we'll just say it was cultural collaboration, or what's the word I want to use? Not collaboration. Cultural collaboration. We'll say that they just collabed and they influenced and inspired each other. Kwame Nkrumah and MLK Jr. We'll say that. That's fair. That's balanced.
Gandhi, Gandhi led a liberation movement against the British before Africa.
Hold on, Prince. Go ahead, Neil.
Yeah. I was saying basically how the guy worded it. He put it in no context, as if Kwame Nkrumah was this freedom fighter that grew out of Africa. He didn't mention that Kwame Nkrumah went to an HBCU and lived in America for 10 years and probably got his ideology from America, the Black liberation ideology, and he probably experienced Jim Crow segregation and racism, and then he went back to Ghana after that. So he just said somehow Kwame Nkrumah somehow was this self-made freedom fighter who had nothing to do with America before he did his thing and then inspired Dr. King.
You
stuff like that.
Kwame Nkrumah and I can. We fought against the bloody white man before you even came on the boat. Stupid. Diners, you got to stop and tell.
Hey, Prince, we can't let's stop with the name calling. But yeah, Prince does make a great point. So you have the story of the golden stool and Ya Asatewa, if I butchered the name, I'm sorry. But they have been so the Akan have resisted against colonialism for hundreds of years. He does have a point.
I mean, you can say what you want to say.
So he does have a point with that.
I could easily just go against it, but you could just say what you want to say.
Yeah, you talk nonsense, bro. Diners, if I could speak, please, brother.
Go ahead. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Well, I love your show. You know, I'm your man from a different mother. We got split up during the ancient wars in Africa. You end up on a boat, I end up on a land. I've been watching you since the days of the Dogon. That's how long I've been watching you. Right? But this guy, bro, you're entertaining this clown too much, man, brother. You've allowed this guy to come on. I know he's the first to ring up and all that. Because you're the only one entertaining him. Now, I know you want people to come on the show, but enough of this guy. This guy is an idiot. I'm sure he was slow when he was at school, but he's been
come on now. Let's stop. No.
Bro, the guy is
man.
He hates African people. He hates non-African American people, which is fair enough. You can have your critique, but he just makes up rubbish. The other day he was on your show. I didn't ring up because I thought, let me just take a break from the thing a little bit. And all I can hear is this guy making some ridiculous remarks that nobody says anything against. Like he was saying, Africans couldn't come to America until the 1960s, blah, blah, blah. While blinking, Ghana became independent in 1957. Kwame Nkrumah and the likes of many other African students were already in Africa before that, and businessmen was in Africa before that. But this man would come and make a stupid statement and say that Africans couldn't come to America until the 1960s. And nobody checks him on this. We've got to get to a point where we shut down idiots because there's war against us. You know better than anyone, Dianis, because your show has been targeted by the FBAs who turned up, who raised their head at the same time as the Operation Dutula. Right? There's an attack on black people media, and they're not going to win against us because we got the truth. We've been attacked. We're used to getting attacked. We just move on with our Pan-Africanism and other positive things that help black people. But people like this, we can't be giving them too much voice because people are vulnerable out there. And the more and more they listen to the idiot who's got Rasta hair, who denies Africa, who looks more African than even I do, got a nerve to come on here and chat nonsense. Well, people like me, we'll be here to shut it down. I might not stomach people like CD, but even goddamn, I have to put up with his stuff if he's going to go against this FBA nonsense. Because it is nonsense. It's embarrassing. And his leader, Tariq Nasheed, he's put himself into a corner he can't even believe. He ain't gonna get out of this. Okay, so I love what you do, Dianis. You're in Africa. You're showing the thing. You can't get more. You're a perfect model. We like that. Okay, you could be more Igbo Israelite friendly, most high friendly. Right? Like, I'll put up with that. You know, you take some, you lose some. But these people like we've got to get to a stage where we got to shut their nonsense down. We can't give them too much room. But it's nice to know you're back on the continent, brother. Keep us informed there. Keep the show going. But let's keep it a bit more well-balanced, bro.
Hey, let me ask you this, though. His name is James, St. James. That's your name? So have you ever heard of... Have you ever heard of the... Yeah.
Can you read the screen? Then why are you calling
me St. James? My screen is kind of small. I can't see this.
Get a better phone, stupid. How are you gonna confuse me with someone?
Hey, Louis, stop calling out his name.
I mean, he could call all types of names. It ain't gonna matter because it's like it's not like we're in front of each other. He's just on the internet talking, man. But I will ask him this though: have you ever heard of the 1808 Black Codes, in which, under the auspices of slowing down slavery, or like they say basically they're gonna stop the importation of Africans by way of boat. This also meant that Africans couldn't immigrate here by boat, and back then the only way you could come here was by boat because I don't think they had planes. Allegedly, they had airships. If you want to listen to the Tartarian theories, but so
why the hell would we want to come to Europe in America?
It was a ban on Africans entering America by ship.
We don't care.
Since the 18. I don't know. Somebody could fact check that. I know I was researching it.
We don't care.
And it wasn't. And then they had to.
We have no reason to be there other than to be slaves.
There was no mass migration because it was allegedly to stop slavery because they was importing Africans by ships.
It was a different world. Who want to go into slavery?
Why do you never let us speak without interrupting us? Goodness gracious.
But have you ever heard of that? Like the slowdown the importation of slaves. They banned Africans from entering America, United States, by way of the ships since like 1808, and it wasn't until 1965, in which they reformed the Immigration Act that included Africans.
Why would
but
we
before then, Africans was banned from mass migrating to America.
Why would we want to go to a slave plantation? Why would any African want to do that?
Regardless of that, you know, I was just saying the reason why they wasn't allowing Africans into America, they said it was because they were slowing down the slave trade. It's like when the Liberians went to Liberia from America and they saw the slave trade going on, and they put a blockade over the port and took them to war.
He's all over the show now.
It's just history. Like he's just babbling and attacking me personally instead of looking up the facts. Why can't you look up the facts?
Who wants to go to America?
I just told you in 1908,
that's all
they banned Africans from coming into America because they want to slow down the slave trade. You can look it up. That's what I was saying. It wasn't until 1965 Immigration Reform Act in which Africans was included in mass migration.
All right, if that's the case, what was Kwame Nkrumah doing there in the late 1940s? What was he doing in America if he wasn't allowed there?
He was a student. It wasn't a mass migration.
My friend, no, listen. Nobody was mass migrating out of Africa anyway.
There's a book. There is a book by the name of.
We were not allowed into America into the 19th
mass migration.
What was Kwame Nkrumah and other students
doing? He was a student, but
I
would say this: if you ever read this book, it's called "Up from Slavery" by Booker T. Washington. In this book, when he was a teacher at Hampton University.
Bro, we don't need that. We've got the facts.
I'm mentioning something that's relevant. I'm going to mention something relevant. If you will allow me to mention something that's relevant. So in this book,
Prince, don't interrupt. Let him talk. Em, you got 45 seconds. I got to pass the mic to see how it's over.
Okay. In this book, it was a black man from Morocco, but he came speaking English, and people thought he was a black American. They started being extremely racist against him, so he started to speak Arabic. And when he started to speak Arabic, they wasn't hating on him. But it was a story that Booker T. Washington mentioned in his book that this black Moroccan was treated with racism because they thought he was American because he spoke English. They had a hatred for like English speaking black people. And that's just one of the a trivial fact in the Up from Slavery book from Booker T. Washington. So they really hated black people. But he just happened to be an immigrant from Morocco.
Oh, okay. I got. Lewis, you got 30 seconds. I'll pass the mic.
This is the perfect example of what I mean. This man blabbers on about nonsense. He made statement that Africans were not allowed in the USA into the 1960s. I just gave you an example that there were Africans from Ghana, other places going up and down where they including America, who were begging our students to come to America to study there so they can have relationship with us. So it completely dispels all that rubbish you're talking about Africans weren't allowed to come to the 1960s. Idiot and Nkrumah was there as a student, and there were many other businessmen I could name that went to America and back.
But he went back
before independence. So what you got to say
about? He wasn't allowed to be a citizen.
Man, shut up, bro. He was already educated.
I gotta pass the mic. I gotta pass the mic. Seattle said Kofa, go ahead. I'll pass the mic. Seattle said Kofa, go ahead.
I feel like as soon as I start speaking, the continental Africans are just gonna start yelling over me.
Hold on. Lewis, don't interrupt. Go ahead, Seattle.
Don't say nothing silly.
Oh, so don't say nothing silly. So as soon as I say something and you disagree, you're just gonna start yelling and calling me all kind of names.
I'll mute Seattle. I'll mute him. Go ahead, Seattle.
Boy, I won't do that.
Okay, so I guess my question is, why do the continental Africans really care what we want to label ourselves? Why is it any of their business? And then second question is, what would they feel comfortable with us calling ourselves? Because
but Seattle, that's not the topic.
I mean, it's basically is it not part of the conversation that we're getting into? Even from
well, not really. I don't think. I really don't think. Well, ask Lewis.
Can they just answer this one question? Since they're so uncomfortable with us calling ourselves foundational Black Americans, since we know we've been here since 1526, what would they feel more comfortable with us calling ourselves? Because I know they don't want us foundational Black Americans to call ourselves continental Africans, because we never even been to the continent, most of us, unlike Dinas. So what would they feel comfortable with so they don't have to keep meddling in our business and meddling in our affairs, attacking us about what we want to label ourselves? What would they feel comfortable with what we call ourselves? That's what I want them to answer for me.
All right, Prince or Kidola, you want to answer?
Bro, thank you, Dennis, for allowing me your show. Africans are not uncomfortable with FBA. We Africans, we call tribal people by names here. So wherever you call yourself FBA or not, it's not our problem because we already get used to tribal people names and everything. But the problem that you see over with you, this FBA of a thing, is that since this so-called FBA was being established, Africa was like a target board on their, on the arrow.
Maybe
So
I need to re-ask the question. Let me re-ask the question because
I'm
asking a very specific question.
Well, hold on, Kidola.
All I want to know
hold on, Seattle. Hold on, Seattle. Hold on, Seattle. Hold on.
With foundational
Seattle,
Black
I'm
Americans
talking.
labeling
Can he not?
ourselves,
Can he not hear me? Kidola, just answer the question. Like we don't need a dissertation. Just answer the question. Go ahead, Seattle. What's your question?
Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
Well, yeah, you couldn't hear me. I was talking. Hold on, Kidola. Hold on, Seattle. What's your question? One more time. Seattle, what's your question? Seattle, you do be calling in on them Obama phones. That's an Obama phone, Seattle. It's okay. It's okay. Let me put the link in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. Well, go ahead, Kidola. The floor is yours.
I think big claiming with regard to the topic, Destiny Swapper. Yeah, I understand, the tension. The tension for him to reduce will take a long time. But I think I can also understand part of them also. That Africa want to Africanize them when they're not Africans like that. I really do accept that for that. But say Destiny Swap, I don't think so. I don't think civil rights was being made for people from the United States, for their fight, for their vote, for their association, freedom of movement for themselves. I think Africa actually never really got the message that civil rights was being declared United States for them to be able to visit United States. You have to understand, majority of Africans will not have the means to travel. So it was some elite or selected few that neither the British people give scholarship to, or people that their father were already businessmen. Right from there to independence period. After the independence 60s, some Africans also were not traveling. They would prefer to go to London because those are the curriculum. That's what they understand. Because they were really direct into their educational system and everything. Coming to the United States was never really there. People that was actually understand in Africa, West Africa, that they were still bad going to the United States, is the elite, few elites, very few, who understand the discrimination, hitting, whatever is going on there. So you giving us civil rights to come to the United States never actually really exist. What happened is that early 70s, when the petrodollar came into process, United States played very what called politics. I saw that most Africans were already going to Soviet Union to study, doctors and everything. They then say, how can we get people? It's a soft power of a thing. Still, they will not give it. Let me say, case of Nigeria. They never give Nigeria scholarship to come to the United States. During the Biafra war, everything was geopolitics, for the Igbos that came at that time. So coming to the United States was like an opportunity to be given to you by the government of that country to go and study and come back. So that civil right will naturally be passed to us. The tension will always be there. What Africa have to do to keep this tension, you have to accept people the way people are. Accepting that these people are not They might be genetically connected to that zone, but they're not culturally and socially connected to Africa. That's just the way. In short, I like Black American style. At least they say their own out. There are some Caribbeans who don't say their own out until you fall into their trap. You know, we have to, okay, you're there, I'm here. So that this destiny swap of a thing will actually, not become a problem. But as long there are people who try to make money on it, on YouTube, for people who like bashing the opposite sex, this is not their new form of making eating. They will continue doing this thing until they get tired. Just the way they get tired of bashing the female, they'll get tired of bashing the Africans. But it's a shame anyway that few people will not poison the mind of the Africans who actually don't know nothing about what is going on in the United States. Rather, they open up one day, go to YouTube, as I say, some kind of caricature images, about Africans and themselves. But we have to find a way to accept people the way they are, without not you claiming them. If you don't claim nobody will be your enemy. Ghana come with this problem. Mr. Prince, we understand with these things. Hebrew Israelites come with this problem. They persuade the other guy to say year of return. Year of return become the year of we're each other's neck. Before, we're just at each other. Look at each other, say hello to each other. But I hope we can be very diplomatic and this will not get out of hand. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, Dennis, you there? Hello, Dennis?
How you do? My name is James Parker. I normally go by the name of James Harlem. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, you man.
I mentioned my government name and the name that I go by for the specific reason of being very transparent. And when I say being transparent, I'm a foundational Black American person. Nonetheless, I always love Black people, no matter where they are on the earth. I was taught to have a particular fondness for Africans in general because for a long time I considered myself African American. I realized that the delineation is needed specifically for our claim for reparations because without it, there wouldn't be any distinction, no real distinction, and it would muddy the waters. And I must say that since I was very young, I've seen African people and I had no problems with African people, still don't. However, many people from Africa or the Caribbeans are just like a lot of the foreigners who are not Africans, but who have migrated to this country. They have preconceived notions or built-in hostilities. And it's evident to us who are foundational Black Americans, or formerly described as African Americans, though it is evident to us, and this has been evident for a very, very long time. Now, with social media and the information that's being disseminated to a large amount of people, most people are able to concur with what I'm saying as far as other people, or even being more specific, Africans come over here and see themselves as other or different than us. It is evident today, unfortunately, that most African businesses that I went to, there's not a foundational Black American sweeping the floor or doing any kind of work or is employed by them.
Bro, did you say sweeping the floor?
What I'm saying is there's no capacity.
Real quick. I
As far as the
currently,
teenage,
I'm the host is talking. The host is talking. Currently, I work for a Haitian. Technically, a Haitian hired me, and I am what you will. I'm a Black American. I don't consider myself FBA, but I'm a Black American, and a Haitian woman hired me, and I work for her currently.
You're a very fortunate person. In general, I have never seen a young person who are doing even the menial jobs in not just Africans, but people who are not from America who migrated here. And I understand that we as foundational Black American people should and do take care of our own. But I'm giving an example of the, let's just say, I would just say the difference that we are viewed. And as I said, we were viewed by most immigrants, and I'll be particular when I say Africans, from when they came over here with preconceived notions.
And how do you measure that? How do you measure they got preconceived
I
notions?
measure that by me living in New York City. And I remember since I was very young, and I believe you might be the gentleman who said that it wasn't Black people who helped Africans migrate here. And that is a problem, because what you're doing to me, in my opinion, is you are denying the historical fact.
Hello? When did I say
I'm
that?
not sure if it was you, a person who just got through talking. I can barely make out everything that he said, but in essence, I heard him say that the reasons why they're over here because of their professionalism, and that's why they were here.
That's a fact. That's how the doctors get there. That's how the lecturers get there. That's how you qualify to go to other people's countries.
My point is, there were not large numbers of people who migrated to America from Africa until there was the civil rights struggles in 1965. That opened the floodgates, not just for Africans, but for every single person who wanted to come here from another country. Prior to that, the white Americans were not so in a rush to have other
it's the quota, brother.
African or Black people in this
It used to be
country.
quotas.
Bro,
those quotas before.
Whatever quotas they were.
Well, guy, let James finish. I got past the mic.
Okay, those doctors and those professional peoples were allowed in, but they were not in large numbers as we see today. It was because of the civil rights struggle of foundational Black American people that allowed all the immigrants that we see today.
But James, that's what the civil rights movement negotiated. So I mean, why are we upset at Black immigrants now?
I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm saying that it should not be dismissed. It should not be dismissed by anyone who is here from another country who immigrated here. You cannot dismiss that the primary reason that immigrants are allowed to come to this country in the vast numbers that they are today is because of the struggles of the people who fought and died to have that be
that's not true.
Occurrence.
That's not true. That's not true at all. And
I'm listening.
You align, that is true. And this is the problem that we're having with you Africans and you immigrants.
No, it's not true though, bro. It's not. I live here in England. Hello?
Okay. Sir, I think the quota was like 100 people a year. I think the quota was like 100 people a year.
Okay, that's up to you and your country. You do that. Okay?
1965. Can you shut up? Can you please?
Louis, let him speak. Let him speak, Louis.
You've been being very rude to my people this whole time you've been on here, and you've been very disrespectful. And it's funny because you're super ignorant to what actually happened here in America. I
No,
think
I'm not
that
ignorant. I'm not ignorant
this
at
is
all.
you're talking. See, this is why people want to be foundational Black Americans and they do not want to be African Americans no more. We do not want to link ourselves with these people. We only want to link ourselves with our lineage, with our genealogy, paperwork. That's the only people we really want to deal with at this point.
No,
Because
no, you
if
don't.
it
You want to
doesn't
be. You
matter,
only black in the white man's
I'm,
apple of the white man's
No,
eye.
Louis, stop interrupting him. Tony, when you say genealogy and paperwork, what do you mean?
I mean, if you I don't do DNA, but I do my genealogy. So I got an ancestry account. I put in my parents, my grandparents, and all of that. I use the death certificates, marriage certificates. I use land allotments. I use the starting the 1790 U.S. Census. So all of my family, I use the U.S. Census. I use the territories and the areas because my people have been here before 1776, and I have that in my ancestry, in my genealogy. So,
Okay, okay. So what do you say, Tony? Why are you bringing all this up? Your genealogy? Why are
I'm
you bringing
bringing
it up?
this up because I'm bringing this up just like the brother was saying before. It's imperative for Black Americans to attach to their lineage if we do want any type of reparations.
Okay. Tony, what's your lineage? Because my lineage is,
My lineage,
West African.
my lineage is not West African at all. My lineage is American Indian. I've been
Oh, well, so you're not even in the conversation. You're Indian, so you're not even in the conversation.
I am in that foundational Black Americans. A lot of us are
No,
American.
you're Indian. You just said you're Indian.
No, I'm still foundational Black American. I'm still foundational Black American. It's a
You
lot of
said you're Indian. How are you Indian and
yeah,
foundational Black American?
because we was reclassified. In 1880, we was
You've been reclassified.
of course, yes, of course. I got family that was in Virginia in the 1800s and the 1700s.
Bro, you're not even in this conversation. Well, okay, so you already have your treaty. You're on the Dawes rolls, right? You should be Tony. You should be on Tony. You should be on the Dawes rolls. You already have your treaty. Where's your reservation? Tony, where's your reservation?
There was a paperwork genocide. There was a paperwork genocide as it referred to the foundational Black American lineages.
What is
many
the
of
paperwork
us
genocide?
were here. Many of us were here, and we were also described as Indians.
So you guys are Native
when the
Americans.
colonizers,
This doesn't
Americans, we wouldn't even be.
Sir, I'm trying to explain to you. When the colonizers came here, they described the people that they saw. They called them Indians because they looked at like the people out here over there in the east. They mischaracterized us as Indians. So the same Black people to then are here today. We are called foundational Black Americans.
No,
and
they called them Indians because they thought they were in India. They were very clear. Again, they were very
right. But the people that they saw,
you're not going to talk. See, one thing you're not going to do is talk over the host. So when I talk, you be quiet.
My apologies. My apologies.
Thank you. When I talk, you be quiet. Thank you. So they called up Indians because they thought they were in East India. All right. They would have called you African if they thought you were African. They were very clear what Africa looked like because they had contact with Africans already.
They know the West Indies was actually referred to as North Carolina, South Carolina, and Louisiana as well.
Oh Lord!
It's right there on Google.
Yeah, this doesn't. I mean, this doesn't pertain to you. You're an Indian.
No, yes, it does pertain to him. It does pertain to me, and that's the whole reason why we.
Donna Smith.
I just think is the more you guys talk, the more you prove like Prince Louis and Kid Ola right. It's like y'all are Indians. You guys are Indians. You're not FBA. You're not Black American.
It was a descriptor at that time.
Listen, you're not a Black American. You're not FBA. You're Indian. What tribe are you? What tribe are you?
Sir,
Tony, I'm asking a question. What tribe are you? I'm asking a question. Which tribe are you?
You can do this. Okay.
There were various tribes. There were various tribes.
I'm asking specifically. You said you did your Tony. You're not gonna talk over me again. Tony, you're not gonna talk over me. When I talk, you be quiet. When I talk, you be quiet. Thank you. Tony, when I talk, you be quiet. Again, what tribe are you? Tony, what tribe are you? I'm asking the question. What tribe are you?
Choctaw and Chickasaw.
The
You
black food.
okay, so you're Choctaw Chickasaw. You're not FBA or
I am FBA. You don't
you're
get to tell me how
Chickasaw.
you don't get to tell me how I can self-identify, bro. I labeled as African American this whole time. So
The
what the
black
fuck are
food
you talking
class.
about? I'm damn sure not African American. This goes further against your own point. You think you smart, but
No, but
I'm not African American.
FBA
So
and
I'm
Black
not African
Americans
American.
have African lineage. You're saying you're Indian. That's the
FBA's
gist
The
have
of it.
whole world,
FBA's
the
have
whole world
American
has.
and some and African lineage. It has both. I just know the genealogy of my American Indians, and I don't know the Africans. I don't know that. I don't know. I ain't went that far back. I ain't found it.
You an Indian. Tony, you an Indian, Tony. You an Indian. Tony,
Yeah,
you an Indian. We not the same. You an Indian.
majority of majority
You
of
an
foundational
Indian.
Black Americans are. Yes, majority of foundational Black Americans are.
You an
Dennis,
Indian, Tony.
can I go? Let me just give it said. You see, with people like this type of people are coming around, try to rewrite history, even we that was sidelined will be shocked.
You trying to
You can
rewrite
say,
history?
oh, hold on, please. Hold on. You know how you scream or you want to encounter me with, let me just give my own hint, please. When MK, you know, the great man that fought for the freedom of most Black Americans and the other ones before him, they never measure their Indians. Let's assume you have a lawsuit from the native Indians. Hold on. Because it will come. It will come to that one day. The native Indians, the real original Indians, said there's a group of people who want to erase our history. They will put a lawsuit. They will put a lawsuit. They will said, let's do. Hold on.
Yeah, kid, you lost me. Let me pass the mic to Seattle Sankofa. Seattle, go ahead, Seattle Sankofa.
No, let him make his point.
I'm passing the mic. I'm passing the mic. You're Indian. You're Indian. Go ahead, Seattle Sankofa.
Trump kicking the fake Native Americans out because they cannot pass their genealogy.
The fake Native American out. Oh Lord. Go ahead, Seattle Sankofa.
Yes, it's a quick
Seattle Sankofa. Go ahead. It's your turn.
search, sir. You'll see that Trump been kicking them fake ass $5 Indians out of this country. All you gotta do is look it up. You can look it up right on the page.
No, put the link in the chat. Put the link in the chat room. Seattle Sankofa.
You do it. You smart.
Seattle Sankofa. Go ahead. Unmute yourself. Seattle Sankofa. Okay, he's not there. All right, go ahead, Principe. Principe, unmute yourself.
What's up? Salute to you, Dinus. How you doing, man? I'm my opinion on the topic about the destiny swapping is that it doesn't really make any kind of real sense because the average Caribbean, Jamaican, Haitian, Nigerian, Ethiopian is not trying to play Native American, and the average African American.
So Principe, is it safe to say that people like Tony Red are the real tethers and the destiny swappers trying to be Native American now?
Not only to the Native American, they also tether themselves to African American. So he's trying to keep 1 foot on Native American, claiming Native American, and 1 foot claiming African American, and he's going back and forth. But he claims he knows his true identity. Why are you claiming African American if you already know that you're a Chesapeake or whatever the hell you are?
American. I claim foundational Black Americans, and my genealogy is proven to me that my family lineages were Choctaw and Chickasaw and Blackfoot.
But why claim African American if you know you're Choctaw? What the hell is that? It doesn't even make sense.
I don't claim African American. I claim foundational Black American. So I say I'm American Indian.
No, but you guys claim that the white man rewrote your history and the Native Americans stole your identity, and you guys are really Native Americans. So why claim Africa? Why tether yourself to the Martin Luther King? Why tether yourself to Malcolm X if you know your identity? You know that you're not them. Doesn't make any sense.
Okay, do you know what the nickname of the Civil Rights Bill was?
Tony, you need to Tony, you need to tether yourself to Pocahontas. Okay, well,
I'll tell you. It was the Indian Bill. The Civil Rights Bill was nicknamed the Indian Bill. But right before Martin Luther King died, he said that this was our land. Right before Malcolm X died, he said that we were the aboriginals of this land.
Oh
No, they
Lord.
didn't. You
That's
lying.
what our leaders told. That's what our leaders told us right before they died.
Hey, hold on, Tony. Let me read this to you. Foundational Black American is a lineage-based term used to describe Black people in the United States who are direct descendants of enslaved Africans emancipated after the American Civil War. You ain't us, bro. I mean, you're not. I mean, you're Indian.
My people were other prisoners.
You're Indian, bro. You're Tony. You're Indian. That's the definition of FBA.
So in my
I just gave you the definition of FBA.
My genealogy, it was a slave.
Bro, I gave you the definition of
you can't
FBA.
define this.
Yeah. You're FBA.
No, you can't define this. And I was trying to give you a clear. I was trying my best to give a clear definition on our lineage.
Of FBA.
The FBA family, it ain't no sense to even arguing with these people. These people got their self-perceived.
I just gave you the definition of FBA.
Foundational Black Americans went through No, sir. Our foundational Black Americans went through an ethnogenesis. We went through an ethnogenesis. That means that we are a mixture of the people that were here.
I'm gonna mute you and read the definition of FBA. Okay, Foundational Black Americans is a lineage. Again, Foundational Black Americans is a lineage-based term for Black people in the United States who trace their ancestry directly to enslaved people freed after the American Civil War.
Yeah, my people were saying. Yeah, it's documented.
That was a limited definition.
A limited definition. Oh Lord.
You go by that. Okay, a slave.
And I can tell you why it's a limited definition. Okay, brother, can I talk? Hey, young brother, just let me please say what I gotta say. The reason why I said that is a limited definition because it does not include the people who were already here, who were not enslaved, who were Black.
FBA, bro, I just gave it.
They were people.
Listen. I just Jay. I gotta mute you, James. I gave you the definition. Like, you guys are Indians. I'm sorry. Be proud of your Indian heritage. Stop tethering and destiny swapping with FBA. I mean, we got to move on. Go ahead, Principe.
I mean, you want to be disrespectful. That's on you, bro.
I'm not being disrespectful. I read the definition. It ain't you. You got to. You are.
You read a limited definition, and I'm telling you,
you are a descendant of Pocahontas. We got to move on. You are a descendant of was it Geronimo? Was it Geronimo? Yeah. You're a descendant of Geronimo. We got it.
That's why we are delineating right there.
Right, but you're Indian. James, you're correct. You're Indian. Yeah, you're Indian. Yeah, you're.
And why? If you're Indian and you claim that the Indians took your identity, why are you talking about Africans and Caribbeans destiny swapping with you? Why are you not talking about the Indians who took your identity and the white man who rewrote your history? Why are you not talking about that?
I didn't say that. I did not say that they took our identity.
You want on a rant about how Africans look down on you or this and that.
Fuck Africans. I don't give a fuck about y'all.
Caribbeans look down. No, you guys claim to be Native. Native Americans took your identity.
Well, Tony. Hold on. Mike? Tony. Yeah, Tony. You're Indian, so we all know that Indians we all know that Indians had slaves. And Indians, they were called freemen. That tried to join the rolls, and Indians like yourself stopped them. So yeah, I mean, you and James Harlem, y'all Indians. It's okay. Like it's okay. You're Indian.
No, we are diverse people. We are diverse people.
Now you're diverse people. Okay. You're ethnogen. You said you're Indian.
Our lineage comes from a diverse people, which make us foundational. But we were here.
So why don't you guys claim? Okay, so why don't you
the foundation of this country?
James, so why don't you guys claim the white side, the Irish side? You guys, I'm pretty sure you guys are more Irish than you are Indian.
I ain't seen that in my genealogy.
You ain't seen it? Oh Lord.
A lot of them.
Many of us
have in the 1800s.
It was some Africans. It was the indigenous copper-colored people that were already here. They are.
Yeah, let me pass the mic. Principe, go ahead. Go ahead, Principe.
Yeah, I don't really get the notion. So the idea that we Caribbean, salute to Dinus, good topic. How are we destiny swapping when you guys
Yeah, they're
now you claiming?
Indian. There's no way a Caribbean could destiny stop with them because they're Indians. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This conversation doesn't pertain to them because
And not
Indians
only
and
that,
Yeah, you've been very disingenuous, and you doing it like a fucking
I'm
female.
not being disingenuous. You're Indian.
Oh,
Like you're Indian.
You act like a hoe.
Yeah, you're Indian. Like, yeah, so there's no way that the black immigrants could destiny stop with you because you're Indian. Yeah.
Hey, can I jump in?
Go ahead,
Quincy. Go ahead, Quincy.
All right.
Quincy, are you an Indian too? Are you an Indian too?
I am a Black American with African ancestry, unfortunately white ancestry, and Native American ancestry. Combine those three, and I'm a Black American.
Okay. That. I mean, but let me ask you this: how much Indian Native American ancestry do you have?
Don't even know. I gotta ask my daddy. He always talk about it.
Oh Lord, so y'all just be claiming it just to claim it.
I mean, the same way y'all claim Africa, just to be claiming it. I mean, it's all in our blood, right? It's all in our blood, right? All right, cool.
So, Quincy, can I ask you a question real quick? So,
hey, look, I'm not one of those Indian. I'm Indian people. I'm a Black American, but I acknowledge.
But do you agree with the notion that Caribbeans and Africans are destiny swapping with African Americans? Do you agree with that?
100%. Yeah, I can give you a real.
How so? Where's the Black American agenda?
That has nothing to do with destiny swapping. Let me give you a prime example of how Caribbeans try to destiny swap. I've heard a million times they always bring up when they want to talk about Caribbean contributions to Black America, they bring up Malcolm X. They say Malcolm X is Grenadian. Malcolm X is Grenadian. Anybody who listened to Malcolm X's autobiography knows his mama was half white, half Grenadian. So he's 1/4 Grenadian, right? His mama went crazy. She didn't raise him, and then his dad got killed. His Black American father from Georgia that people never speak about. I've heard Grenada 100 times more than I've heard anybody mention his Black American father. And on top of that, when he went to Boston, he went with his half sister from his Black American father. He went to his Black American father, Black American sister, half sister, and he stayed with her, and that put him on track to become the man who he became, right? But we never hear about that. All we ever hear is that Malcolm X is Grenadian, trying to credit Grenada, Caribbeans for Malcolm X. So that is a prime example of that. So and I could give more. I mean, shoot, Kamala Harris got on there doing the hip hop 50th. Let me I get another example because Kamala Harris is Jamaican, right? She got up there doing the hip hop 50th anniversary, and she said hip hop was inspired by Africans and Jamaicans and whatever. She didn't even mention Black Americans, not at all. This is your Jamaican Indian president speaking on hip hop, a Black American music genre. And she credited Africa and she credited Caribbeans. She didn't say nothing about the people that came from. It's okay. Of course, y'all always have convenient amnesia with y'all stuff. It's so convenient. Y'all never see this stuff. It's so convenient.
Petty low life ghetto argument.
But let me ask you. But hold on.
Hold on. Hey, don't talk to me, bro.
Quincy,
I ain't even talking to you.
Quincy, this is Didas talking. Quincy.
Okay.
But then it falls back to who voted for Kamala Harris.
Hey, you know what? We on the same page of that. We're on the same page of that. Look. This is another one. They say Stokely Carmichael coined the term Black Power. He didn't. Now he did help popularize the term Black Power, but he didn't coin the term. It's amazing how Caribbeans they never do these great grandiose things in their own country, but soon as they come over to America, suddenly they make these big sweeping historical moves when they get around us, and then they get credit for it as if they were sitting in a silo by themselves making it happen. If Caribbeans supposed to get credit for this historical stuff, they would have did it back in their homeland. But they came around us and so then what we was doing, they was jumping on the train that we had going to make these moves. Stokely jumped on our train.
But a lot of Black Americans said that. A lot of Black Americans said that. A lot of Black Americans said that he coined it.
Yeah, a lot of Black Americans
saying that.
And a lot of Black Americans don't have pride of being Black American, and they're like former they're Pan-Africanists who want to credit other groups for everything that we do. If we sneeze and create the dab, they want to say, oh, they sneezing in their arm over in Africa somewhere. They created a dab 100 years ago. You know what I mean? Like people want to credit everything, anything we do. And that is a part of destiny swapping, right? The name African American, that's probably one of the biggest dangers of destiny swapping. I mentioned on here that big wrestler who said it loud and proud on the wrestling show. I've seen panels at Ivy League schools where you had an African immigrant want to question a Black American in front of a big auditorium full of white folks, and she's talking about, well, you know, I'm a Nigerian immigrant, second generation. I should be really called African American. So now our name and the label African American has been tied to so much since the late 80s, over like the last 35, 40 years, right? And now you have quote unquote real Africans coming over, right? And now they want to usurp that name. They want to usurp and hijack the African American label for themselves.
No, you want to give it away. You want to give it away. You don't want to call yourself FBA. You don't want to claim the African American name,
brother. You don't know me because I don't want to give the name away. That's Black America's name and nobody else's. You don't know me, so don't speak on me. Don't speak about what I want to do.
But FBA does. To me, Tariq does.
I'm speaking. Hey, well, go call Tariq. Go call Tariq. I ain't Tariq. You talking to me. I don't want to give away African Americans. To me, that label African Americans is Black Americans' label and nobody else's. And if we don't want to use it, that's our prerogative. If we want to retire it, put it on the shelf and let it collect dust, that's our prerogative. But we should not give it up for any other group, no Caribbeans, no Africans, any other group to use that label, because that is 100% destiny swapping. We got our historical documents, our literature, our museums, everything is tied up under that name. And I'm gonna keep it up with y'all. That's one of my gripes with a lot of people in FBA is that they want to let go of that name. And I'm saying, look, we ain't got to use it, but I'd be damned if we just give it up for somebody else. Like when Kobe, they retired Jordan jersey. Ain't nobody else wearing 23 over there. We could retire like a jersey, put it up in the rafters, but I'd be damned if we let somebody else put it on and let them get all of the shine and all. We got too much tied to that name. We got too much tied to that names. So I apologize to the guy kind of, got a little loud with earlier, but you said I did it. That's one of my biggest gripes is that people trying to keep trying to give away that name. I don't resonate with it anymore, but it's still Black Americans and it's ours to do it as we please, and we shouldn't surrender it to anybody. All right. Last couple of things. This kind of generic. Dinus, this is more Dinus. If you want to talk about racism in America, do you go talk to white people about racism and say, hey, tell me about racism in America? You know what I mean? Or do you go talk to the people who was affected by it, right? The Black people. You go talk to the Black people, right? Because the white folks, how honest are they really going to be about what they've been doing, right? So when it comes to this diaspora stuff, and Black Americans are telling you, hey, this is what we're experiencing with these Africans and Caribbeans, and then y'all say, hey, okay, cool, let's talk to the Africans and Caribbeans about it. Are they gonna be honest about what they've been doing?
I think the experience is so super exaggerated and fed from other people. Like one person will have an experience and then everybody will run with it as if it's their experience. I think that's the problem with it.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I also do feel like there was a lot going on behind the scenes that we are just discovering that we were unaware of, and it's catching a lot of Black.
Like what?
See, I'm a dude. I already said this on your panel, bro. There's a whole Nigerian organization in Atlanta. I think it's called UMO or something like that, where it's a professional organization.
It's the Igbo. It's probably you're probably referring to the Igbo organization.
No. It's called UMO or something like that. I'm not sure which tribe it is.
It's for the Igbos. I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Okay, great. But and I mentioned this on your platform before, which is another point I want to make after this. They don't get those professional positions because they're Nigerian. They get them because they're Black. When these companies want to hire Black people, they look around and they get a Black person. If it hadn't been a Nigerian, they're lucky. Cool. They get them because they're Black. And I said this on your panel before.
Yeah,
but what happens?
But Quincy, the problem I have is, are they getting these positions from other Black people or white people?
No. The point is, what do they do once they get those positions?
They have to hire a Black person
I know, but the point is, when you get that position and it's time to pay it forward to another person, do you hoard those opportunities for yourself and other Nigerians, or do you pay it forward to any other black person like Black Americans do? So that's what I mean about that. That's what I mean, because that's exactly what's going on. And look, let me just say this, and because this is the prime example, because I've spoken about that beforehand on this platform. That is one of the as a Black American former Pan-Africanist, one of the frustrating things about your platform is it's almost like every time you say, Dinus, I got to shut it down. Everybody show love, search for who, whatever. When you shut it down, it's like a factory reset. Everybody forgets everything that was presented, and we got to start back from scratch, 101 again on the next call. So whatever knowledge is being shared.
But what's presented? We the Native American Indians.
Hey,
I know that I personally have presented the point about the Nigerian professionals who get it because they're black, but only pass the Nigerian professionals. I know I personally spoken about EEOC at Ivy League College. I know I personally spoke about on this platform about college.
But Quincy, this is the problem I have with that. We talk about how Black Americans are the most powerful Black group in the world. We're the most successful. We set the trends. We have the most money, $1 trillion spending power.
That's true.
So what does it matter? I mean, what does it matter?
Hey, no. And you know what else? We realize another thing is Black Americans have the weakest cultural security out of all Black groups. If our ethnic group was a club, all the doors are open, all the windows are open, and anybody who looks like us,
you're right. Whose fault is that?
And that's Black Americans' fault, and we're trying to correct that right now, and that's why people are kicking and screaming.
Hey,
because we shutting down the windows. We're shutting down the windows. You can't slide in because you Black no more. You got to be Black American. We closing the door. We're trying to put guardrails around, and those guardrails are like the little FBA people, like not little, but like Dora Milaje, big security guards or whatever.
We could do that, but we still got to get rid of the sellouts. We can't let them stay in. They got to go with the Africans.
Hold on. That's a different conversation, because I'm talking about ethnically. We gonna have sellouts regardless, and we gonna deal with that. They're gonna be the ones opening up the back door. But according to you, according to that, that'd be Dinus, because Dinus opened up the back door for the Africans.
Open up that back door.
But you wouldn't call
listen, I'm gonna open up the back door for whoever shows love. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. It could be an African immigrant. It could be a Caribbean. It could be a Black American. I'll open up the door whoever shows love.
He calling you a sellout, Dinus. I wouldn't say this.
Hey, listen. If you look at prime example, currently right now, I work for a Haitian lady. Technically, she hired me to help her out with her store. So I mean, absolutely. If you look,
that's business. Respect
hell yeah, I'll open up a back door for you.
But that's not.
In fact, I'll give you another example.
But that's business. That's not ethnic.
I'll give you another example. One of my, as far as going on the tours, one of my top clients is a Nigerian. He's been on like 5-6 tours. He's coming to Ghana and Ivory Coast with me. So absolutely, if you say, "Hey, Donnie, listen, this is what's going on, man. Can you open up the back door?" Absolutely.
Yeah, but hold on. Doing business with people don't mean that. Real quick. I know, but me and Dinus was just.
Actually, Em, it's not your turn. After Quincy is Big Black to the Seattle Sekofa. Go, Quincy. You got 30 seconds.
Okay, but look, doing business with other people don't mean they get carte blanche access to your culture. If you was doing business with an Arab or a Chinese person or whatever,
we don't. That don't mean Quincy, what's the culture? I mean, we gave it up. We sold it out.
We didn't give it up. No. Just because
what's his name? Dame Dash. Dame Dash always complaining about the 6'6" Israeli that controls the culture, man. I mean, come on.
No. He's talking about the hip hop music industry. That's not the culture. Whoever he's speaking about don't control what Black Americans are doing in Atlanta or in Mississippi or in South Carolina. They don't control what we're doing. They'll take it and monetize it in a business sense, and they control that aspect. But they don't control the culture. Like when you're going to a cookout or a kickback or whatever with you and your Black American people, that's the culture. That has nothing to do with what some white exec somewhere controls.
A cookout.
Yeah.
So
don't do that because if it was some Nigerian gathering, you would respect that as a cultural gathering. So don't disrespect our cookouts like it's not a cultural cookout.
I respect the cookouts, but it's just we limit like black excellence and black culture to Beyonce and cookouts.
No. I was only using an example of what when Black Americans are living our lives amongst each other. That's the culture. That has nothing to do with a music exec and what he monetized that comes from whatever music out there. The culture is what Black Americans do amongst ourselves with ourselves. That could be a cookout. That could be a damn Greek picnic. That could be a step show. That could be, I don't know, a luncheon, brunch. I mean, it could be anything. You know what I mean? But when we come together, we're doing our thing when we come together. Just like when Nigerians get together, they're doing their thing when they get together. But you would never say that their gatherings aren't cultural gatherings, because it is. They're speaking how they speak. They're eating their food. They're listening to their music.
I'm not saying our gatherings are cultural. It's just whenever we have these arguments or these debates, it always comes down to hip hop, Beyonce, and soul food.
Hip hop. You brought up hip hop via Dame Dash. I didn't bring up hip hop.
I'm just saying it in general. No, I'm just saying.
And soul food is our cultural food, so we are going to always bring it up because that is our food. Just like if the Nigerians eat egusi and they eat jollof, they always talk about jollof. You would never tell them to stop talking about jollof.
The point I'm trying to make, Quincy, is we've accomplished so much more. George Washington Carver, Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass, Martin Delaney. That's the culture. But we just reduce it to food and hip hop.
No.
It sounds like
hold on. I think you can play in two different things. Those are historical cultural figures. Those are historical cultural figures who deserve to be respected. In our everyday lives, when we're getting together with our friends and doing whatever we're doing as Black Americans, just like any other group, when Jamaicans get together, they do what Jamaicans do.
All of the Black conventions.
Hello,
that too. I mean, well, if you open up a door and flush the toilet, I mean, damn, that's Black American culture too. I mean, so all I'm saying is when we get together, just like any other group gets together, and they do what they do, that's their culture. If Asians or Chinese people getting together, eating their food, singing their music, doing whatever dances, doing whatever chants, we view that as their culture. Any other group, we view it and recognize it as their culture. But then suddenly when it comes to Black Americans, we can't talk about soul food. So Nigerians can talk about jollof rice all day, every day. And Ghanaians talk about jollof rice all day, every day. But we can't talk about mac and cheese? Come on, no. And I think that's where the pushback coming in. No, y'all don't respect our culture.
But the best jollof is Senegalese anyway. And I correct Ghanaians and Nigerians all the time.
More power to
I tell Senegalese are the best jollof.
More power to that. All I'm saying is what we do is just as cultural as everybody else. Y'all keep thinking that it's not because we are consumed globally and people emulate us, but that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. It don't make it not our culture.
I don't get off when I don't get excited when a Japanese kid has cornrows and is rapping. I'm not excited about that. But for some reason you guys get off on that.
Hey, you know what? I've always hated the Black people who get excited when the white boy can dance at the club.
Hold on, y'all. We got hold on. Let me. So Dr. Bakari is
all that shit. I'm
gonna go ahead and pass the mic to Dr. Bakari, Dr. Lumumba. Let me put some respect on his name. Dr. Lumumba, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Respect.
Well, first off, I need to ingratiate myself with the conversation that you all are having before, of course, I make some comments.
Okay, and I want to do this live too, Dr. Lumumba. Let's run it back. 500 UGA goes further this year. Let's go ahead and lock it in right now. Let's go ahead and lock it in right now. Let's lock it in right now. Don't be scared.
Hold
on, y'all. Don't interrupt. No, this is between me and Lumumba. Let's lock it in. Don't be scared. Let's lock it in.
Real quick, you do know that we are preseason number 1, correct?
I don't care what you are. I'm saying let's lock it in. You don't lock it in.
Hold on. First and foremost, take that bass out your voice, okay? Take that bass
let's
out
lock
your
it
voice. And you talking about 500.
Let's lock it in.
That UGA goes further than
the Ohio State.
Let me think about it.
Oh man, he's scared. He's scared.
I'm not scared.
He's scared.
Two, 3 years in a row. So all right. So let me say this about the conversation. FBA claims Black immigrants are destiny swapping. What does that mean? So I briefly heard someone make a claim about African Americans. As you all know, I'm an African American. closing the doors, right? So one, for me, what does that look like? What I hear is a lot of rhetoric. I don't see any actual tangible actions to prevent African Americans from being exploited by individuals who are doing harm to us. And I'm going to give some examples. We know that the criminal justice system is inherently racist at every level, local, state, and federal, right? That's a serious issue that isn't being addressed. Second issue, we could look at the music industry, particularly in terms of rap. You know, there's a difference between rap and hip hop. We haven't seen anything addressing the fact that hip hop is owned and controlled by individuals who aren't African American. Typically, they aren't even Black, right? That's a real issue. So I'd make the argument, a lot of the arguments being made are it's bit surface level. Well, who created hip hop? It doesn't matter who created it. What matters is who owns and controls it.
Yep.
Right? Because that's where the power is. I don't give a crap about who had the first bar, or who threw the first block party, who spent the turntable first. What matters is who owns and controls this. Because we're talking about what Marcus Garvey taught us is the importance of controlling industry.
Yep.
Right? That's a real issue for me. Right? These are tangible issues that should be addressed. What I see, and of course, I have my own platform. I work with a number of individuals. What I tend to see is a lot of comments, and first and foremost, I have no problem with ethnic pride, right? We find this on the continent. If you're Igbo, if you're Hausa, if you're Asante, if you're Fulani, that's cool. What I find is a lot of, and what I've observed is a lot of negative, pejorative comments towards members of different nationalities and ethnicities and ethnic groups. But that's what the real issue is. And then you have individuals cosplaying saying, well, people just have a problem with us delineating, right? I had an interview probably last week or 2 weeks ago with one Dave Anderson. He came on pushing FBA, and every single claim he made was false. And I had to debunk him, like, dude, you're just making stuff up now, right? It's okay to have a position, right, but you're literally just making things up. I give you an example. He claimed that African and West Indian immigrants.
You don't see the Africans doing that to Black Americans?
I'm sorry? I
see that the immigrants. I'm sorry. I said, do you not hear the immigrants doing the same thing to us, which made us start doing it in the first place?
No.
Can you not acknowledge that this is a response, sir? What you're hearing from the FBA community is a response to what we have been perceiving. We all grew up to love Africa.
I would say this.
They never hear it.
Well, I've been a Pan-Africanist for over 20 years. I've traveled the world, particularly that Black world. Been in the West Indies, the continent, etc., even South America. On a macro level, there's not a negative characterization of African people or African American people on a macro level. Like I said, but the second issue, hold on. Let me finish my statement. The second issue, and what is most important to me that I find to be an issue, is situations in which individuals it's a solution in search of a problem. And I'm going to give an example, then I'm going to pass the mic because I think I'm monopolizing the conversation a little bit. It's when Dave Anderson, this is on my platform probably a week and a half ago, stated that African and West Indian immigrants were taking scholarships away from African Americans. And I said, can you give me an example of scholarships that were supposed to be attributed to African Americans that were received by African and West Indian immigrants? Mind you, I work in higher education. I've been in higher education for the past over a decade. So he gives an example of an Indian man who got a tan, shaved his head, and claimed to be an African American when he actually wasn't, to receive a scholarship to go to medical school. So I said, I'm familiar with that case, but the issue is the individual is Indian, not African or West Indian. So I said, once again, you're making a claim that you can't, but you are unable to substantiate it. The second issue is scholarships are based on three identities: gender, sexual orientation, or race, not ethnicity. So I said, once again, you're making a claim that's adverse to facts.
That's not true. They have a whole website. They have a whole website listing ethnic-based scholarship. They have a whole one.
What is the website?
I gotta look it up. I discovered it in 2019. That was put me on this whole path.
I'm saying this as someone who's a higher ed administrator who is set on scholarship committees where we actually decide who receives the scholarships.
Do you expect
Now, real quick, what you may be referring to is private scholarships, right? There may be some private scholarships where an individual says, I'm going to create an endowment for this particular group of people. But in terms of at an institution, it's based on gender, sexual orientation, or race.
Yeah, you added that qualifier. I'm just saying there are ethnic-based scholarships out there.
So
that's a fact.
So hold on, so Quincy, until you post the link, it don't exist.
Oh, I can tell you exactly. I found it just in 2 seconds. You Google scholarships.com, and then it's in Google scholarships, ethnic-based scholarships. You will see a link for scholarships.com. You click on it. It literally says scholarships by ethnicity. That took me 2 seconds.
But again, are they private scholarships?
Albanian? No, they are private, but that's
okay. So you just proved this point.
No. He said there are none. He didn't say that none.
Well,
no, they exist.
I'm looking at this now, and it's stating by nationality, not by ethnicity.
My God, hold on. See, this when y'all start. Hold on, I go back to it. You know Botham John. You remember the Botham John case, right?
Yes,
Botham John.
He's a young man that was deleted by the police officer, correct?
Right, yeah, correct. And Black Americans rallied around him to get justice, right? And then when they got that settlement,
hold on, wait. Black people, period, took umbrage with what took place. Not just African Americans. Black people
in America, if the majority of Black people are saying something, that's 90% Black Americans. I mean, if you're a scholar, then you know what the numbers are as far as like the immigrant population of America.
Yeah.
So let's not let's keep it up. Let's keep it all level, right? So if Black Americans are making noise in America, that's primarily Black Americans. I'm not saying it's 100%, but it's primarily Black Americans, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So Black Americans made noise for Botham John, who was Caribbean. They wind up getting a settlement of some sort, and when they created a scholarship, they created a Caribbean American scholarship. It's little stuff like that you all conveniently never see. It's always so convenient. You just never see this stuff. You never see these ethnic-based scholarships. I saw a whole list of them. I'm sure if I Google it, I could find the site. It's Jamaican American, whatever American, all of them. And one more.
That bothers you?
Hold on. Yes, it does. I'm gonna tell you exactly why it does. It bothers me because it's a simple question: who qualifies for a Black scholarship in America? And it's a rhetorical question. Right now, who qualifies for a Jamaican scholarship? Who qualifies? Okay, who qualifies for an African American scholarship or a Black American scholarship? Who?
Well, African Americans will be African Americans.
Hold on, Lewis.
Who qualifies for an African American or Black American scholarship in America? Who?
African American.
All right, so Quincy, which you should
everybody.
Hold on, but Quincy,
hold on.
What second?
That's not the case, and I would know because I work in the industry. What you're referring to?
My God, I had a Jamaican girlfriend. My Jamaican ex got Black scholarships all through school. My Jamaican ex got Black scholarships all through school.
And I'm going to tell
I'm not taking nothing from your intelligence, sir, but you are not
required. Why? It's because on the scholarship it says Black or of African descent. I know this because I'm a higher education administrator. On the scholarship it doesn't say African American. It says Black or of African descent.
Okay, great. So therefore, you're acknowledging that the Black scholarships that because we are not specific, which is our fault, right? We're not specific to say, no, you got to be a Black American who descend from the U.S. state. We're not specific. So you do acknowledge that the Jamaican, the ethnic scholarships for the diaspora are specific to them, but those that should be specific to Americans aren't.
Hey, Quincy.
Pick a country. Pick a country.
What he's telling you about is the difference between federal scholarships and private scholarships. Federal
and if I can speak, and that's the point that Quincy keeps going over his head. They're like right now. I can do at that Quincy. Put your money up. Start the
Democrat Party.
I'm talking. The host is talking. The host is talking. All right. So Quincy, what you need to do is get the FBA crew together, and y'all put your money up and start the Black American FBA scholarship.
Hey, for the record, I've been doing that. For the record, I don't speak about what I do. Hey, I'm responding to the host. I've been doing that. I'm not gonna put my business out there, but I've been donating $500 a year specifically to Black American scholarships, right? Because
so Quincy, what's the scholarship so we could know?
I'm anonymous, bro. I ain't telling all my business. The kids get it every year.
Man,
the kids get it every year.
Quincy, stop.
Oh
Quincy,
no!
stop.
Oh no!
Quincy, stop.
No! Oh no! Hey, Dinus. Hey, Dinus.
Now it's a secret.
Hey, Dinus.
Now it's a secret. You ain't serious. You're not serious.
Dude, hey, Dinus.
What's the Quincy? What's the name of the scholarship?
No, Dinus. I have no reason to lie. All jokes aside,
Quincy. What's the name of the scholarship?
I'm not saying it because it's one of my best friends.
Oh man, come on.
Okay, well look, you can feel how you feel about it, but I don't have no reason to lie to y'all. But I'm anonymous. So I'm staying anonymous. It is what it is.
I said the name of the scholarship, Quincy. I didn't ask for your Social Security number.
The name of the scholarship, it literally has his name in there. So if I say who it is, people know exactly who I am.
Oh Lord.
So, but look, but he started the scholarship.
Quincy, you're not serious. You're not serious, Quincy. You're not serious.
Okay, cool. But look, I am serious because he started the scholarship. My friend recently passed.
You just like hearing yourself talk, man. You like hearing yourself talk.
I'm trying. Hold on. We mentioned my scholarship because it's my dead friend. So I'm really trying to explain it. He started the scholarship nearly a decade ago, right? He started it. I started contributing to it every year to help out the kids back in my hometown, right? And about around 20 right before the pandemic, so it was 2019, right when I found out about the thing with my sister, I told him, I'm like, look, man, we got to just make sure. Now, granted, in our small town, outside of the military, is not many the Africans or Caribbean, so we got to worry about that. But I did tell him, like, look, we got to just make sure they Black American, just like that. So, and I've been contributing to it ever since, and that's on my dead best friend. So I ain't gonna put my business out there like that, but I ain't playing about that. You know what I mean?
Well, but why don't you want to put it out there? That'll make go ahead, Dr.
I'm not opposed to there being scholarships specifically for African American students.
But you do acknowledge that as it stands right now, the ones that should be specifically for Black Americans, they aren't tight knit to say, hey, you literally got to be a Black American, not a Caribbean. You do acknowledge that, right? Do you acknowledge that point?
Hold on, listen. You asked me a question now. Let me speak. I disagree because you said should be. Scholarships, public scholarships that are university based, right? Like I said, I've been working in higher education since 2015, are not based on ethnicity. They're based on what? Gender, sexual orientation, and race. So now there are private scholarships that you showed that were based on ethnicity, but from what we viewed on the monitor, it was based on nationality. Now, what we could do is then advocate and say we would like to have scholarships specifically for a particular ethnicity, but that has never been the expectation in higher education. I'm someone who holds a PhD in higher education student affairs. Literally, it's on how higher education institutions operate. That is not the case, and that has never been the case.
Okay, and I respect that.
The Democrat Party pays for a lot of the immigrants.
That would be a private scholarship.
Hold on. I'm trying to respond to Mr.
Just understand that would be a private scholarship if you claim
understood. Hold on. Hey, I've already spoken about what I do, but I'm trying to respond to the doctor. Doctor, what I'm saying is you're adding the caveat of it being public. I was only speaking of that they do exist, and to go further with it, what you saying that they're only based on race. Can I ask you a question, Dr. Lumumba? Why would any university who, as far as race go, right, and if they want to get Black people, why would any university be owed or owe anything to African and Caribbean immigrants? Like if we do anything in this country, in the United States of America, based on race, based on the Black race, that's Black Americans first and foremost. It comes from Black Americans.
Can I ask you a question? So there's a couple things. One, the several institutions, particularly elite institutions on the East Coast, benefited from the transatlantic slave trade, right? There's a great book called Ebony and Ivory by the brother's last name is Wilder. Craig Wilder, I think is his name. I talked about how these institutions were able to gain their large and financial endowments based on engaging in the selling and transporting of enslaved Africans, not only in the United States, but also in the Caribbean. So that answers that question. The second issue is institutions.
What school you're talking about?
Let me finish. Lord have mercy. The second issue is higher education institutions don't operate based on do they owe students anything. A lot of these scholarships are opportunity based. So, and I do apologize because typically are 4 caveats. The first is one is gender, one is sexual orientation, the other is race. Another is oftentimes economic need, right? So a lot of scholarships are based on the financial need, right? But there aren't scholarships based on a particular group of people's ethnicity.
The Democrats pay.
What school were you talking about? What school you mentioned when you said that they do it based on race because the slavery, the school prospered?
No. What I stated was in higher education, period. In higher ed, scholarships are based on a number of identities: gender, sexual orientation, and race. That's just the norm in higher ed, period. In America.
Understood. But you mentioned that those schools. But hold on. But you mentioned that they prospered or were built on slavery. Some of those schools was built on slavery, and you mentioned that it was American and Caribbean. Like, can you repeat that part one more time for me?
Yes. So I mentioned Dr. Craig Wilder's book Ebony and Ivory. I think, matter of fact, let me look up the book, and then because I read the book, because I actually cited some of his work in my dissertation, Ebony and Ivory.
And while you're looking it up, my question more is if an American institution was built on slavery or made money off slavery, I think either one of those Ivy Leagues was saved by selling slaves, right? In America, then why would they?
It wasn't just
several.
So this is the book, Ebony and Ivory: Race, Slavery, and the Troubled History of American Universities. What we find in this book, and this is deep. I mean, I would implore all of you to read the text. Hold on, can I share our screen here, Dinus?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm asking for clarity. Not because I don't know. I'm asking for clarity.
And so what we find is there was several.
Dennis, can I ask you a question, Dennis, please?
I mean, this
can I ask you a
question?
Guys. So listen, guys, listen. All right, so listen, be quiet. It's my show. If you got a problem, you can leave. Hard stop. So people have always been asking, hey, Dinus, you need to bring on some more well-spoken professional people. We have a guy with Dr. Lumumba has a PhD. So I'm going to give him the floor. If you have an issue with that, you can leave. Hard stop.
And I got a master.
I got a master. So I just want to be able to answer the question to Brother Quincy. You asked me why would you said something about institutions providing resources for people who aren't African Americans, right? And what I said was
if those Ivy Leagues were built on slavery, Ivy Leagues in America, or any institution,
let him talk. Let the doctor talk. Let the doctor talk.
I'm trying to clarify what I'm asking.
Let the doctor talk, man. You're going too much.
Let him clarify.
I'm clarifying. Y'all could be tired. Whatever. This ain't your show. I'm clarifying what I'm saying. If Ivy League schools, any of them, Ivy League, public, any of those schools, were built or prospered or whatever on slaves, whether it be they built it, they sold some slaves, whatever, right? In America, why would they then, if they establish any scholarships based off that fact in America, why would they extend that to Caribbeans too? If it's based on what happened in America to Black Americans?
So let me answer your question. So some of the institutions, the College of William and Mary, Harvard, University of North Carolina, University of South Carolina, etc. I think Princeton is one. I mean, he goes in detail in his text. A lot of these institutions weren't just enslaving people; they were engaging in the slave trade. So they were transporting, selling, of course, the slaves from America in the Caribbean, right? So it wasn't just they were doing something specifically in America; they were doing this throughout the Western world, and they were, of course, able to build large endowments as a result of it. As a matter of fact, there's a great documentary that came out, I believe, either 2007 or 2009. It was either the year Kobe won his first championship about Shaq, or the year that he had dropped all those 50-point games. So I'm sorry, I'm a Kobe guy, but there's a good documentary. It's called
me too. I'm a Kobe guy.
Traces of the Trade. Stories from the Short North, and it talks about this as well. So it wasn't something that they were engaging in this type of behavior only in the United States. They were engaging in this behavior throughout the Black Atlantic.
Okay. So look,
but the thing is, this isn't my perspective. This is just a scholarship that exists that documents this.
Understood. That's why I asked the question. I'm asking for clarification.
That wrote the book.
Yeah, understood. Now, to my understanding,
Doctor, please, can I ask you a question, please?
Okay,
guys, let Quincy. Did he answer your question?
That is nice to the African.
He did answer it.
Hold on, 1 second.
Yeah.
Lumumba is Black American. You know, you're so
Yeah, I'm an
triggered
African
by
American.
just African. Yeah, he's African
I
American.
mean, you nice to Lewis.
Yeah.
What?
Now why would that?
The thing is, I simply legally changed my name 18 years ago.
Dennis, can I ask the doctor a question, please? If you can clarify for me.
Guy, hold on. You can't, Quincy. Did he answer your question? I think he answered the question.
He did. He did answer the question. He did answer the question.
Okay.
And I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Kidola.
Doctor, it's not seeing you again, please. Be the caliber you are, you know a lot of history about United States. I don't know about the history of United States. In the history of United States, wherever there ever a black people in United States already who call themselves Indians before the arrival of the African descendant they brought to that place? That's what I want to know, please. Can you explain to me?
I'm sorry, I do apologize, brother, but I'm having some trouble.
Let me ask you a question. So Tony Red, right, who's on the panel, Dr. Lumumba, he claims to be a Native American Indian, right? So the question is, were there black folks who claim to be Native American, or were there black Native Americans here before the transatlantic slave trade?
Well, so what we do know, and I can say this because I've taught African American history for a number of years in higher education. First at Columbus State Community College in the great city of Columbus, Ohio, which of course has a better football team than the University of Georgia.
Put your money up. Put your money up.
And then of course at Sacramento, California State University, Sacramento. What we do know is that particularly in the state of California, right? And this is a great thing for anyone who's in Cali that's on this platform. If you're at a California State University, you have to take a class on the history of the state of California, which is great. There were Native Americans who were of a darker hue who were classified as Black Indians by Europeans. Now, I haven't come across any documentation that suggested that they identified themselves as such, but Europeans did, of course, identify them as Black Indians because they were of a darker pigmentation.
Okay, Doc, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Yeah. As a man in the academic field, you're a lecturer, of course. I believe my youngest brother is a lecturer at London School of Economics.
No, I wasn't a lecturer. I'm a professor.
A professor, okay.
I have publications in peer-reviewed academic journals. I'm him, not a lecturer.
It seems that when people like Quincy come on here, they tend to always argue against blacks outside of America getting a foothold in education in America.
That's not true. That's not what I said.
Hello.
That's not what I said.
How much percentage of students in America, of the black students outside of the African American people, what is the percentage of the black people who are outside of America or international students from African Caribbean? What's the percentage of them in the American education system compared to the blacks?
I couldn't answer that question. What I do know is that Black immigrants are the smallest immigrant population in the United States of America as a whole. But I couldn't give you a percentage in terms of in the American educational system.
But is it to your knowledge, is it a threat to threaten the intake of African American students? Does it threaten them at all?
No, I would say this in terms of resources. We know affirmative action originally was created to benefit African Americans, right? We're talking about LBJ when he created legislation after he gave a speech in the late 1960s at Howard University's commencement. However, what identity group primarily benefits from affirmative action in the 85%?
White women.
85.
White women. White women.
White women.
White women.
And there's another group that typically receives benefits as a minority group that was supposed to go to African Americans. What group is that?
LGBTQ.
Gay man.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So those are the two groups that are truly getting the lion's share of the benefits that were historically supposed to go to us as African Americans.
Thank you. So with that, why do people?
And real quick, and this is something I've seen in higher education, where there were individuals in power who were part of those two identity groups that I just named, that would then change the legislation of the particular resource that is supposed to be distributed to African Americans, and they say, well, it's going to be minority based, and they would include in there gender and sexual orientation.
So with that,
if one truly has an issue, and this is just my position, that this, with people receiving benefits that are supposed to go to African Americans, they would have an issue with white women and LGBTQ. Doesn't mean that you have to be misogynistic or homophobic or transphobic. But the other issue is you would have to go to the institution who is doing this and demand that there be an indemnity, not to the individuals that are.
I want to respond to that.
Who's making the decision?
I want to respond to that, Mr. Dr. Lumu. So he's saying overall, generally, right? He's not speaking about specific Ivy League schools, because especially up north.
Well,
you asked a question, and I'm giving my own caveat for the information I know.
I didn't ask you. I know what you're gonna say.
Well, I asked him the question. I gotta ask him, Dr. Lumumba. What percentage in the Ivy League schools
you've asked
are the African?
Stop.
Yeah, like look, in the Ivy League schools, they're overrepresented, right? And that's just a fact. This been talked about since 2011, all the way up in Cornell. I mentioned it here, right? So yes, if you're talking about overall across the country, yeah, it's a drop in the bucket, but it's a concentrated drop in the bucket in a select number of schools, right? And that's been spoken of for damn near 15 years at this point.
I'm not familiar with that.
Look up Cornell. Look up Cornell University about when the black students at Cornell University. It was an article written about it. I think either 2011 or 2015. I mean, this is happening. This is happening, and it's kind of like you're right. So what I'm getting at, I want to respond to as far as going to white women and all of that. And I've said this a million times on this show. White women can't be black. Don't say Rachel Dolezal, but white women can't be black, right? White LGBT, they can't be black, right? And what's been said and what's been in practice is when these institutions, when they're trying to attain and make right by slavery and all of that, and they need to bring in some black people, they're not bringing in the aggrieved party of black Americans. They're bringing in quote unquote black people from other countries.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you got it. You got it.
No, I shouldn't have cut you off. Go right ahead.
Okay, I appreciate that. Ultimately, what I'm saying is we all know white supremacy is always going to play games. If they owe you $1, they will give you 50 cents and make up reasons why, right? Ultimately, what I'm saying is, and Africans get so offended by this, but it's not about them per se. It's about how white America is playing this game against black Americans, right? They say this quota is, we're supposed to have 10% or whatever it is of black, and we know, and it's supposed to make right of what was happening in the past to black Americans. And then when they go out there and they pull in, first and second gen, X, Y, and Z, and then you look at the black population, the student body, the black student body of that school, and in the minority is black Americans, right? Like it wasn't intended for them. So when you ask, like, well, would we go to white women or LGBT? Well, white women and LGBT can't fulfill the black quota. But who can fulfill the black quota? Africans and Caribbeans.
Can I ask Professor a question, please?
Well, Professor asked you're next. Go ahead, Dr. Lumumba.
Yeah, so there's a couple of issues. One, I'm not familiar with any racial quotas or Ivy League institutions, right? The second issue is these institutions aren't trying to actually repay a debt due to the Holocaust of enslavement. Trust me, they aren't. The second issue, and probably the third issue, is Ivy League institutions are highly selective, and you have to have almost impeccable test scores and GPA to get in. Now, personally, I wouldn't want to go to an Ivy League institution because of the overwhelming form of course, anti-black racism at these institutions.
Yeah. I didn't. I went to HBCU, so I'm with you.
Right. I mean, and you tend to get. I mean, public institutions in general. I went to a PWI, the Ohio State University, right? But the Ivy League schools they off the chain, right? But once again, a lot of times it comes down to GPA, test scores, highly selective. I had great test scores coming out of high school. I didn't have a great GPA because I'm an athlete and I kind of BS'd in the classroom, right? But my issue would be, once again, if we're talking about resources, The overwhelming majority of the resources that historically should have went to us when we talk about affirmative action, 14th Amendment, are going to people who are non-Black. That would be an issue that I would have. And this is something I would say as a higher education administrator, that's something I've gone and went to the AVP or the vice president, or was able to have a colloquy, or of course with my supervisor in the president's institution and say, we got to find a way to steer these resources to the Black community.
We're in agreement, and we're in agreement right there. And all I'm saying is a lot of what's happening right now is people want to do everything you said and go an extra step, right? Because if they say it's supposed to be for Black people, but then suddenly we only get 35% of that because they're giving it to white women and everything else. Okay, we want the whole 35%. We don't want Caribbeans and Africans to get 20% of that, and then we left with 15% because we got to break it down between them. Like we want what's supposed to be for us.
Brother Chris, can you pass the mic?
Let Bakari respond. And Big Black, you ask a question, and it's Principally. Go ahead. I'm sorry. M's next, actually. Go ahead.
But actually, it's my turn.
Guys, some decorum. Dr. Lumumba's gonna respond. Then it's gonna be M. Go ahead.
Right. So real quick, because I got to wrap this up. In the position, like I said, I've been in higher education for the past 10 years. I actually am who I say I am. You could Google me. My credentials will show up. My dissertation defense is on my YouTube channel, right? My publications, you could Google them. In a higher education institution, the resources are not distributed based on ethnicity. Now, if it's private, like you said, the case with Bochum John is different. But if you go to Ohio State, if you go to a Wilberforce, if you go to Ohio University, to a St. Clair, to a Central State, to a Cleveland State, it's not going to be based on a particular ethnic group. They're going to say, this is what we're giving to the Black Culture Center on campus. Then it's going to be the responsibility of the director of that center of how he distributes those resources. I was the director of the Martin Luther King Jr. Center at Sacramento State University. I handled the budget, and I made sure that those resources went to Black students, not Black identifying, because you have some people coming in talking about my great-great-great-grandmother was Black. Right, this is the real thing, right? But my issue is the claim that you're making that, okay, 20% is going to the Caribbean or African immigrants from a particular institution. It doesn't happen.
Thank you.
You just said that you worked for the Martin Luther King Institute or whatever that was, right? And you made sure that they were Black. Now that's Martin Luther King, a Black American, right?
Well, it was named after him because he gave a speech at the institution in 1967.
Oh, and much respect to that. But I'm just saying, like, look at how it's like Black American labeled. You know, you're a Black American at the head of it, but Black Americans can't get prioritized in that. They just got to be Black.
Well, here's the issue. Let me ask you this question, because my dissertation was on Black culture centers, right? What was the ideological emphasis of Black culture centers? What was the ideological driver for Black culture centers being created in higher education?
At PWIs?
Yes.
I know the circle around the Black identity, reinforce it, make sure people have Black cultural pride.
Ideology. What was the ideology?
Oh, I'm assuming that was Pan-African.
Yes.
Yeah.
So irrespective of the name of the institution, the ideological impetus that created Black culture centers throughout higher education, starting at San Francisco State University, was what? Pan-Africanism. Not African American identity.
Okay, great. So with that being said, America is changing. It used to be Black, white, and Native, and then at some point it was Black, white, and Latino, and at some point the floodgates open, and now it's just a whole rainbow of Black people. And we are getting to a point, maybe not yet, but we definitely headed to a point where this country is damn near like New York, where it's like ethnic based, not really race based, because you got every type of different everybody from each race, right? So what I'm saying is,
that's not the case on the census. Not the case according to the Department of Justice.
But the census is being updated, and it has been updated in certain cities and states. So that is being updated.
If
so
my ethnicity, it still goes by race.
Okay, great. But hey, times change, everything evolves, and all I'm saying is we as it stands right now, we don't want to be handcuffed to how it was, because it's not 1950 anymore. We live in a whole different society than when these thought processes and ideologies were established and set in stone. And all we're saying is, hey, if everything is updating, we're in a different society, all kind of different race, different ethnicities are here from every different race, right? it does Black Americans a disservice to stick to that race because it's not the 60s anymore. And how, as a matter of fact, and how
education. You probably have to take
I would disagree. I would disagree that it does a disservice because we understand that racism is a team sport and there's strength in numbers.
How do we keep track? Hold on. How do we keep track? And how do we ensure that the restitution that's supposed to go to Black Americans, how do we keep track of it if it's just being spread out just because you're Black? If it's put in place.
Hold on. See, now you're conflating two issues.
Right. If I get a jet real quick, Dr. Lumumba, is there a specific restitution that goes to Black Americans at these public universities?
But that's my point. No. That's my point. It's not. That's my whole point.
It's never have been.
Right. But because we've always I just said a second ago, it was 2 or 3 races at one, well, three and Native Americans too, but Black, Native Americans, and white. That's what it was 60 years ago, right? Times has changed. We don't live in those days. Okay, yeah. But in minor numbers compared to what it is today. Yeah, in minor numbers compared to what it is today, right? In minor numbers, the big 3 back in the day was Black, white, and Native American. Well, all I'm saying is
Black, white, and Latino.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that. Black, white, and Latino. Okay, cool. But all I'm saying is we live in a different time. Right, we using these same standards of yesteryear for today, and when I say that it's doing Black Americans a disservice, and I'm saying we use Black at the time because we were primarily the main Black people here, right? Dr. Bakari, if you have a son,
hold on, real quick, Black was used at the time because America is a racially based society. That isn't based on a decision we made. America is a racially based society.
True, but at that time, Black Americans who descend from U.S. slavery were like 99.9% of the people here prior to 1965. That's what it is, right? So when we said Black and when we were saying Black to each other, it was an unspoken understanding of who we were talking about, which is at 99.9%, right? Cool, and we put all these institutions and these standards.
I disagree with that, but go right ahead.
You disagree with the number?
No, I disagree with you saying when we were saying Black, we were simply referring to other African Americans. I know different.
So hold on.
I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in African American studies. So I know what you're saying is at first facts, but go right ahead.
Hold on, hold on. Okay. And I said this to a guy just yesterday on Dynasty's platform. Yes, okay, cool. You well read, right? I'm from Georgia. If you're talking about making Georgia, your regular everyday folks, we're not talking about the scholars. We're not talking about the people who got degrees and went into the books and all that stuff. We're talking about your regular everyday folks. Your grandma, your uncle, your whoever, right? When they were working back in the 1960s, they weren't thinking about no Africans. We was dealing with white folks here. We were dealing with racism. We was dealing with Jim Crow. We was dealing with all of that.
If you think that is true, then I would argue that you don't know much about African American history.
You telling me
a large amount of scholarly literature that would disabuse one of the position that you're making.
And once again, you're referring to scholarly literature. I'm talking about your everyday Black folk.
But the scholarly literature
your everyday Black folk,
everyday people.
No, a lot of times, y'all. First off, y'all do your research. You reach out. Y'all take trips and all that stuff. Y'all are not everyday people. If you talk to the everyday people directly,
the research I'm referring to is based on interviews with people who are what we would consider common folk. A great example would be the book Hattiesburg, a story of Black and white that chronicles the development and history of the city of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And they talk about, and I know the guy who actually wrote the book because he got his degree in African history, his PhD from the Ohio State University. And the professor is a mentor. His professor is one of my former professors. And of course, he was a mentor of both of ours. We're talking about Dr. Hassan Kwame Jeffries, right? And so, or we could talk about his work with Lowndes County, Alabama, and how the people there in the 1950s and 60s, when they created the Lowndes County Freedom Organization, which had the first what we would call Black Panther Party, and they had an African-centered consciousness, even though these people were sharecroppers and living in chicken huts. So what I'm saying is, I know what you're saying isn't true because I'm familiar with the history of Black common folk in the 20th century, because I've reviewed
Hold on. Let's work this out. I'm not going to disagree with anything. Well, I'm not going to say I'm not going to disagree. Scholars have a hard time taking a step back and taking and soaking in with the everyday. Like if you come to Atlanta, right? Atlanta has a certain, like if you go talk to Atlantans, it's going to be a certain crop of Atlantans you're going to speak to, right? But then there's another side of Atlanta, the quote unquote real Atlanta, that'll give you a whole different story, a whole different experience or whatnot, right? So I'm not saying the scholars didn't go talk to whoever they went and talked to when they did their research. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, if you talk to the average everyday Black American, my uncles in their 60s and 70s, my grandparents, they passed, but I'm sure if I've never heard my grandma, any of my grandparents even maybe even mention the word Africa.
You're a very inconsiderate person, man. You just not.
My God, hello. Dinah said me and the doctor could speak, so we speaking. So me and the Dinah said we could speak, so we speaking. Me and the doctor speaking.
All the time.
Me and the doctor speaking. Me and the doctor speaking.
Just holding all the time.
Hold on. But Quincy, I think I understand your point, Quincy. But at the end of the day, the so-called FBA, you guys don't run.
No, I'm not you guys. I'm Black American. All I'm saying is they always point to scholars.
But Quincy, what I think, I understand where you're coming from. At the end of the day, whoever cuts the check, sets the rules. And I mean,
I don't agree with that.
There's another issue.
I don't
just answered the question I was going to ask.
Go ahead, Dr. Lumumba.
Let me respond one more time, and then I'm done.
Real quick, I just provided, of course, shared the screen. That's the book I was talking about, Hattiesburg, an American City in Black and White. There's also another issue I think that you're not considering. So let's say that the position you're taking is historically accurate. That you had grandparents, great-grandparents who did not have an African-centered consciousness. And the question you would have to ask is, why was that the case? And this is referring to what Dr. Ali Missouri talks about. It's called contrived amnesia.
Why would I have to answer that question?
Hold on, listen. Dr. Carter G. Woodson talks about this as well in his book, Miseducation of the Negro, that was written in 1933. Dr. Carter G. Woodson is considered one of the two fathers of Black history, along with Dr. John Hope Franklin. And what they talk about is that, unfortunately, because of the negative and historical indoctrination that we receive regarding Africa, right, many African Americans began to not want to identify with Africa.
No, that's different. I think that's different.
Receive education.
Doctor, not want to identify with Africa, and Africa just not being a priority or even a thought in my day-to-day life is two different things, right? Because it has to be presented for you to reject it to a certain degree. And all I'm saying is, for your average everyday Black American in Jim Crow South, Africa wasn't at top of mind like that. We was dealing with too much to worry about what was going on across seas. Now some scholars.
The argument.
No, that was my only argument.
I'm not saying that these individuals who are Pan-Africanists. What I'm saying
is
that there was an African-centered consciousness. Matter of fact, if you watch the movie Rosewood that came out my freshman year in high school, 1997.
I've seen Rosewood.
Yes, I'm dating myself. Even in that movie, in Rosewood, Florida, they had individuals in the movie who were identifying with Africa. Right. So, like I said,
which one? Which character? Which character? Which one?
The brother who had the long beard. The brother who had the long beard.
Isaiah, that one Isaiah Washington, and that wasn't Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames had a long beard.
No, I'm not sure. There was another brother in the film. He had a long beard, and in the movie, this is when they was having the New Year's Eve party, and they were all dancing, and the brother ended up saying Africa, Africa. Right. So what I'm saying is there was the identity. Matter of fact, you look at a lot of Black organizations at the turn of the 20th century. Many of these organizations had Africa in the name.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example. We talk about T. Thomas Fortune and John Edward Bruce created in 1892 the African American Association. Right. So it's not like I'm making this stuff up.
Quincy, can you concede and let somebody else talk?
Hold on, no.
Yeah. Let me pass somebody. Go ahead, Il.
Thank you, sir. Now, I heard a couple of things. I know I'm not as articulate and well spoken as Quincy and Dr. Lumumba, but I do understand mathematics and simplifying things and getting to the point. The least common factor. You don't have to discuss every aspect of the situation to get to the point. Now you discussed, like Dinus answered the question I was gonna ask you. You know, the white man is giving these Africans positions in these Ivy League colleges. Obviously, we know the reason. Talking to Lumumba ourselves, Dr. Amos Wilson said they do it because they got the power to do it, and you don't have the power to stop them from doing it. That's the simple answer to that. But I was gonna ask you about what you said about what was the ideology that was taught. That was the black ideology, and then Quincy said it was Pan-Africanism, and you say African centered, but I think y'all really was talking about Afrocentrism, which preceded Pan-Africanism. But the question I wanted, I was on this panel. I was going to ask Dinus. Hold on. Go ahead.
Afrocentrism doesn't precede Pan-Africanism. In fact, the term Afrocentrism became prevalent after Dr. Maleficaire Santi Sr. wrote his book titled Afrocentrism in 1980. Pan-Africanism goes all the way back to, of course, the 15th century.
I was going to say this, though. You say African slaves.
Okay, but do you acknowledge that you're wrong?
No, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Black center, African center, Afrocentrism, it's all interchangeable. But he said something about the Africans who actually was sold by the Ivy League colleges. And then he called us Africans, right? Our ancestors y'all call Africans, but y'all don't call us Africans. What is that all about?
I'm not following. What are you talking about?
Like Africans in a continent, they call us. They say y'all are not Africans yet. They acknowledge that African slaves built America. African slaves built the colleges. But if the African slaves had descendants, how come y'all don't call the descendants of these so-called African slaves?
Well, I can't. Well, I would say this. I've been to Africa several times. My wife is Ghanaian, and I haven't experienced that. I've never come in contact.
They never told you you're not African.
I never. But see, I think that's the problem. Have you left Chicago,
Come on, man! Don't ask me that. But I was going to ask you.
I'm dead serious, yo. Your guys' talking points. I'm just saying, your guys' talking points are just. I'm in Nigeria right now. Like
thank you.
You guys will take one example and just freaking run with it.
But Dinus, you just let Quincy babble for 30-40 minutes without interfering. But I just talked for 2 seconds, and now all of a sudden. But I was gonna ask you to do me a favor if you could.
No, but my problem is you were wrong about the Afrocentrism versus Pan-Africanism. You were wrong. Unless
I did provide a source. I stated that.
Yeah, that's my point, Dr. Lumumba.
He coined the term when he wrote the book Afrocentrism in 1980.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
We're not moving on. Can you provide a source to rebuttal Dr. Lumumba? Yes or no?
When did Dr.
Go ahead.
Elijah Muhammad wrote Message to the Black Man in the 1940s and 50s. He put in there the black center ideology. Black center, Afrocentrism. Malcolm X called us Afro-Americans. Before we was called African Americans, before 1980, the whole idea of Afro and even Negritude was in Brazil. I think in the 1950s and 60s.
Negritude was actually was Leopold Senghor. You're talking about
right. So all of this idea of black center ideology, you playing semantics, but I was gonna ask you. Because I heard in the show.
I'm playing semantics. You're making statements out of.
Okay, but 1 second. Now, the examples you gave. When was Pan-Africanism, I guess, noted or this ideology created, or the term Pan-Africanism?
Allegedly, it was started by W.B. Du Bois.
No, it wasn't.
He was the father of Pan-Africanism.
No,
they call him.
Oh God, don't embarrass me,
I got this, Dinus. I got this. I know this your platform.
I mean, y'all could team up, but that's not even the point of my question.
You're not gonna do this.
There's a lot of misinformation in the black YouTube spaces. We don't have to agree on anything, but we need to provide factual information so that we're not misleading black people who are viewers. Couple things. There are three historical eras of Pan-Africanism: the Proto-Pan-African era, the Classical Pan-African era, and the Modern Pan-Africanism. Okay, the Proto-Pan-African era is what? From the 15th century to the 18th century. Classical Pan-Africanism was from the 18th century to the 20th century. Modern Pan-Africanism is from the 20th century to the present. Now, the individual who coined the term Pan-Africanism, it was two individuals. It was Henry Sylvester Williams, and a Trinidadian barrister, and Alice Kinloch, who was a Black woman from South Africa. Henry Sylvester Williams is the one who led the first Pan-African conference in London, England, in which W.E. Du Bois was an understudy of his. W.E. Du Bois is not considered the father of Pan-Africanism. The two individuals who are considered the fathers of Pan-Africanism, and I know this because my master's thesis is on Pan-Africanism, and you could Google it and come up and read it for free, was what? Henry Sylvester Williams and William Edward Blyden.
Okay, so you say in the 15th century, the 15th century when Pan-Africanism was happening, was that during the slave trade in the 15th century? How did Pan-African exist during the slave trade?
Yes. Well,
how did they coexist?
Well, Pan-Africanism existed because you had Black people of different ethnicities and different nationalities working together to help.
But the question, can I ask my question though?
But we can't move forward yet because
the 15th century. That's the
Absolutely. I can tell you why. And the reason why, and this is the scholarly literature on the history of Pan-Africanism.
Please tell me how Pan-Africanism.
That's when the first Maroon society
in America. I'm talking about Pan-Africanism.
I'm sorry.
The Maroons fought against slavery. The people that Dinah say doesn't exist fought against slavery.
Who said I didn't? Well, hold on. Who said I said the Maroons didn't exist? I've never said that. In fact, hold on. No, you're not gonna put words on my mouth. In fact,
you say the Black Indians don't exist.
I did not say that. He said Maroons. In fact, there's a Maroon church in Freetown, Sierra Leone. It's one of the oldest churches in West Africa. So what are you talking about? I've never said that.
Professor Lumumba contradicted what you said about this guy named.
Real quick, it's Dr. Lumumba.
Dr. Lumumba, could you go back to the 1500s when you said the Pan-Africanism was formulating back in the 1500s?
According to the scholarly literature, and there's a book titled Classical Black Nationalism from, I forget the guy who wrote the book. But in the book, they talk about the history of Pan-Africanism. They cite the 15th century because that was the site of the first Maroon Society in Palmeiras, Brazil. That's why they cite the 15th century.
Who sold the Maroons to slavery? Who sold them? Africans. How can you be Pan-African when you were sold by Africans?
Well, I will tell you why. Because Pan-Africanism is based on Black people, irrespective of their nationality.
I want to really ask.
Together. That's the basis of Pan-Africanism. And the second issue is you're making a claim that is extremely simplistic. When we talk about the transatlantic slave trade, it was the elites of these African societies selling other Africans. It was the elites, not African people as a whole. It was the elites, the oligarchs, the plutocrats, which is the term that we would use today, engaging in this behavior, not the communists.
So I will submit to you.
We can't. I gotta pass the mic. Like with McCarthy. I'm losing. I'm like so. I allow everyone to come on and give their opinion because I'm just.
Can I make a couple of points?
No, you can't make a. You're done. Because I'm losing brain cells now. You're just loud and wrong. You're like.
How am I wrong? He said the 15th century.
And people be like, Dinas, why do you let him on? I'm like, listen, this is an open platform.
Man, you letting them control your mind.
I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead,
never went.
All right, man.
Go ahead, Big Black.
Okay, I gotta ask you a question, Dr. Lumumba. As far as like the Black people that came over, Black people that were in the 1600s, what percentage of them actually came from Africa? I would say the overwhelming majority, pretty much virtually everyone, came from Africa. As far as like Black people, that would be in the maybe 1600s. What would you say?
I'm sorry, you were breaking up. I do apologize.
Okay. What percentage of people, if not like virtually everyone, came from Africa that were Black in the 15 and 1600s in America?
Well, what I can say is that there's a large amount of scholarship on the history of the transatlantic slave trade. I had the benefit of taking a couple of classes when I was an undergraduate and a graduate student. Total, I couldn't give you a percentage. What we do know is it was between 12 and 15 million. What we do know is nearly 400,000 of Africans who survived the Middle Passage came to the United States of America. That is what we do know. And I will say this, because I do know, and I came across some literature when I was taking a class on the history of African women when I was a graduate student working on my master's, to where there were some Africans that came here to the Western world that weren't part of the transatlantic slave trade.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was few and far between, and oftentimes we lost information on those individuals because they became victims of anti-Black racism as well. But someone says I need to get his credentials checked. Hey, you could listen, you could go online. My credentials are legitimate. I have an actual PhD. My dissertation, you could Google my dissertation. Is titled "On Intersectional Ground? Examining the Efficacy of Black Culture Centers in the Age of Intersectionality." I am not Cheyenne Bryant. I'm an actual doctor, PhD. I have a terminal degree, 2 masters and 2 bachelors. So I am who I say I am.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Dinus. This is a favor. When you put like the FBA titles, can you put FBA group if you could? Because what's happening is these the FBA, this FBA movement is just flooding the internet, and they're trying to make themselves a quote unquote lineage. They're trying to erase the term African American, and you see it what happened earlier in your show, right? What happened is a lot of those people that followed Dan Calloway that said they were Indian, and most of them don't even believe that, right? But it's just a self-hatred that they have, or they don't like being from, they don't like their identity, I guess, their true identity. Okay. You know what I mean? So what happens is those people, most of the FBA is the abos, is the people that were following Dan Calloway. So you got to understand. So that's why you had earlier today in your show, where you have a guy come on and say, "Hey, I'm FBA." Now, according to Tariq's definition, you're part Indian, you're part Aboriginal, and you're part African. But you'll have people that say that mostly the people that are in this group don't even claim any African identity at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and they could just
understood.
Yeah, they could just sneak.
Let me pass it to Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
All right.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Dinus. Good evening, Dr. Lumumba. First off, I just want to take this moment, to say, Dr. Lumumba, I watched your interview with Dave Anderson, and I just want to actually send you a bit of respect for that. It was very, very, very evident when watching it on the playback that at a certain point during your conversation, you two kind of almost splintered a little bit. Like, you were kind of coming with a lot of like reinforced facts, and he kind of was doing a bit of the okie doke, kind of changing things here or there, kind of not addressing some of your points. And at one point, like, it just looked, on your part, great, but it just looked so bad because he was just kind of coming from left field, and it was just like, he was saying that you were saying things you weren't saying. But yeah, just massive respect for that, because as a professional and a, person who actually dedicated time to do all that, like, to sit there and kind of go through that, I could imagine at certain points must have been a little bit rough. But
yeah, it was, and I appreciate that. I actually thought he was an actual scholar. He told me that he was. But the issue I had was, one, he couldn't define what the term diaspora meant. He wanted to critique a number of issues. He talked about Black identity. He had no concept what the concept Nigrescence was, Nigrescence theory. He wanted to critique Pan-Africanism, but knew nothing about Pan-Africanism, the ideology, the history, or even the core tenets of the movement. And so as I told him, as someone who states that he has a background in academia, before you're able to critique any issue or even interject a gap in a particular scholarship or literature on a particular idea or concept, you have to first show that you have a working knowledge of the said concept that you want to critique. And the fact that he wasn't able to do that, I was a bit perplexed. And that's why I ended the conversation when I did.
Yeah, no doubt. My question was, with, online cultures and kind of how things are going, do you think like the Black academic world, like the researchers and like the people like teaching this stuff at the university level and that, do you think they have a good enough knowledge of the FBA movement, or like, are they doing like any work on it? Like, how does like this kind of debate or this kind of topic, like, how does it enter your field?
Right. So it depends, right? So the further you go as an academic, the more specific you become, right? So my research is on Black identity, Black student development, Pan-Africanism. That's my field of inquiry, right? Somebody else, their research may focus on FBA as a group identity, right? The rise of FBA. So I mean, it depends. So you might have a professor who teaches African American history, right? But their research interest is Black feminist thought. Right. So it just depends on, once you get to that level, what that particular professor decides to make their research interest.
So within the fields that you specialize in, like, because again, you said you're involved in like publications, and I'm sure you like read the current, you know, studies and things that are being said, like within the fields that you focus in, like, is it spoken about? Like, is it something that people are looking into? Because I personally, and again, I'm
But there's a reason for that. Oftentimes, and Dinah's went to UGA. I mean, it's not as a greater institution as The Ohio State University, but hey. And this is a critique. This is a valid critique of Black people who work in academia, who are members of the Ivory Tower. Oftentimes, they are disconnected from, the realities of everyday Black people. And I can say this because I've read literature by some Black academics, like, how is this going to help move things forward for us, right? This is extremely theoretical, right? So it would depend. But I'm quite sure at some point you may have someone who decides to move forward and pursue a terminal degree, and they research real focus on this particular phenomenon, a cultural moment, which is the creation of not only FBA, but also ADOS as an identity and group.
Oh, okay, no worries. No, thank you very much for that. And I yield the mic to someone else for another question. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I gotta.
And listen, I was using the bathroom when you said that, Dr. Lumumba, so I'm back, and put your money up. That's all I'm gonna say. Real Deal Financial. Go ahead.
What's going on, man? No time, no hear from y'all. What's going on? How's Nigeria treating you, brother?
Oh, it's going great.
Man, y'all is funny as hell, man. I just want to know, and I know I'm veering off topic, but big homie, what is your opinion on this DSA shit, man? They ushering in Islamic and communism at the same time. I just want to know what was y'all smart, brilliant, educated brothers.
Sir, it's off topic.
Yeah, let me jump in. Can I jump in? It's Quincy.
Can I rebuttal Quincy from early on?
What second? Let me read these super chats first. Let's see here. Robin Mutali 207, thank you for the holla. Algerian freedom fighter, France Fanon, born in Caribbean, lived in France, then left after riding black skin white mask to fight for independence. Thank you for $1.99 holla. FBA airline, thank you for the $4.99 holla. Malcolm X said we are African in America. What is he talking about? Pretending and babble per usual. Enigma 3747, need the link. Colbert Hunter 12, thank you for the holla. Example, immigrants claiming they created our music genres. Thank you for $1.99 holla. Why are Black Americans invading Southeast Asia? Pape 5602, thank you for the $10 holla. FBA, if all these groups are taking your benefits, why did you leave that void? Black men were not even qualifying for college since the 80s. I don't know about that.
Real quick, Dinus, because you're talking about betting. How about we put up a bet on that 225 bench press bet?
Hey, Dinus, man, you need to
push back.
Let me.
I'm not done reading the super chat. Let me finish the super chat.
Oh yeah, I bet you are.
Rhoda boy, thank you for the 10 jewels. Go Coy. Dusty indeed, 750 jewels. Let them cook. Go Coy, 10 jewels. Go Coy, thank you. Pape 5602, thank you for $5 holla. MFG, that's M. Stop. Yeah, M. Sometimes you get away.
Hey, Dinus, you owe Lumumba a pushback. You owe him a pushback. Because you
Go
said
ahead.
you're from 1619 and your people was here from slavery from 1619. According to Lumumba, we was here in the 1400s as Maroons.
I didn't say that. I said
so. Yeah, that's a contradiction.
No. You're misconstruing what I said.
You gotta go back. You gotta clarify that, Mr. Lumumba.
No, I said,
if we was here in the 1400s as Maroons, how did Dynasty people get here?
Well, I need you
even though he's part of the Yucatan Peninsula.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So there's a couple issues. Number one, I was not referring to African Americans specifically. African Americans, as we know, have been here since 1619, Jamestown, Virginia. Some people argue that African Americans first came to America when they were a group of enslaved Africans who were brought from the Caribbean in the 1500s and then settled here and then taken back to the Caribbean. I was referring to the ideology of Pan-Africanism being around since the 15th century. That's what I was referring to.
Let me jump in.
The 15th century is the 1400s, right? Isn't the 15th century the 1400s?
Yes, but I was referring to the ideology of Pan-Africanism, and I cited I cited the Maroon colony in Brazil.
In the 1400s.
Yes, but I was talking about African Americans.
Man, this shit ain't working, bro. Pan-Africanism. The more and more I think about it, this shit ain't working. This ain't working, man.
It don't. Hey, let me jump in. Let me jump in and say something about scholars and about scholars.
No, I was
waiting.
Go ahead, Real Deal Financial. Go ahead.
So when it comes to this situation, I realize that this shit ain't gonna work. You know, the brothers that go to the continent and have a good experience, cool. Do business, work, expand as much as you can. But this whole commingling shit ain't gonna work because there's certain Africans say this is not my brother. What can I say to someone that's from Ghana and say this is not my brother? He's not part of my tribe. We don't eat.
How are you going to judge millions of people?
How can I be able to make that work?
But real deal.
Yes,
again, the majority of Ghanaians say that. How many Ghanaians have you came in contact with you that have said that? Does that represent the majority?
No, it's not the majority.
Okay, so what are you talking about?
But the problem is, we're talking to Ghanaians in America, man. In
America, hold on, Lumumba. Hold on, Lumumba. One second, Lumumba. I'm gonna tell you a true story. So, I was this is back in 2000 and either 17 or this is back in 2019, either 2019 or 2021. I'm at the airport in Washington D.C. headed to Ghana. I get a phone call, random, from a Ghanaian. I don't even know. Hey, brother, I watch your videos on YouTube. Man, you doing a great job. Oh man, I would love to connect with you. My next words were, hey, where are you from? He said, I'm from Kumasi. My family lives in Kumasi. I said, hey, listen, I'm going to Kumasi I'm going to Accra. I'll be in Accra for about 3 days. I'm headed to Kumasi in about 4 or 5 days. Can I come stay with your family? No problem. I get on a VIP. It's called VIP transport. Accra to Kumasi. We were stuck in traffic. A ride that it should have taken about 3.5 hours, 4 hours, ended up being 10 hours. I pull up to the bus stop at a gas station at 3 o'clock in the morning. This brother that I never met in person, just had a phone call, a conversation with him three days prior. His mother and his brother are waiting for me at the gas station at 3 o'clock in the morning. Take me to their home. They give me the master bedroom. All right. The mom, it was only 2 bedrooms in the apartment. The mom and the brother, they end up sleeping in the same room. They give me the master bedroom. Every time I woke up, hot water for my bath ready, breakfast sandwiches ready, everything ready. I just think you guys watch one Ghanaian and just taking it and run with it because there ain't no way all y'all are having this these run-ins with all these Ghanaians saying they don't like it.
Because it's weird. Solely in America, so I agree with you, Dynus. But when it comes to
I'm saying, these Ghanaians live in America. Another sister, a Ghanaian sister, lived in the Bronx. So whenever I would go to Africa, she said, Dynus, whenever you go to Africa, let me know. Come to the Bronx. You ain't gotta get you can come stay with us. You ain't gotta get a hotel. So I fly into New York. I stay there. They cook me jollof rice, stew, chicken, all the shit. Cook me. They take me to the airport. Cook for me. They take me to the airport. So I don't know where y'all getting this shit from.
Because when I went to the continent, I had nothing but
respect and love.
You know, I had nothing but respect and love what I did. But I realized that nationalism is just going to expand through the continent. When you have South Africans and Nigerians clashing together, no matter if it's real, not real propaganda or not, that's no different than how we see it in America, how Black Americans is against of all immigration. If you bring in influx of immigrants in and they are coming in and hoarding and cornering your market, they ain't gonna be love. It's gonna be conflict.
Black. So the issue is Black Americans are. And I'm gonna pass you the mover right now. Black Americans aren't against immigration because the majority of Black immigrants vote Democrat. I mean, the majority of Black FBA so-called vote Democrat. So that's not true.
But the other issue is that
levels has changed in the past 8 years.
Black immigrants are the smallest immigrant group in America. The smallest immigrant group in America.
The biggest problem is the anti-Black Hispanics. So that's why I don't bang on Africans 24/7. But I know that the motherfuckers that they really want to win is the Hispanics, not Africans, not Haitians. That's
why. We got it. Let's go ahead, Dr. Lamua.
The second issue is demystifying Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is based on the concept and conviction that we should work together, irrespective of one's ethnicity and nationality, to improve our social, political, and economic bearing in wherever we are in the world. That's it. And here's the thing: most people judge Pan-Africanism, like Real Deal did, on the behaviors of people who aren't Pan-Africanists. That's the biggest issue. You're judging Pan-Africanism based on the behavior of someone who isn't a Pan-Africanist. You have to judge Pan-Africanism based on the behavior of people who are Pan-Africanists.
Mm-hmm. How can you tell?
I wouldn't
how can you tell who's who?
Well, you have to have because the person, it's very simple. You have a conversation with the person, and if they articulate to you that they're a Pan-Africanist, then you could then judge their behavior. Right, but what you don't do is judge the behavior of Pan-Africanism based on the people who aren't adherents of the ideology.
But wouldn't you say that Pan-Africanism is baked in Black America's ideology?
I'm sorry?
Wouldn't you say that Pan-Africanism is baked into Black Americans' ideology?
Well, no, and I would tell you why. In the African American community, we have 3 core strains of political thought. And I'm gonna cite my source here. Dr. James Cone, he's the one who created Black liberation theology. He wrote a book titled Malcolm and Martin in America. In the introduction of the book, pages 3 through 18, he provides a historiographic overview of Black intellectual thought, Black conservative thought, Black nationalist thought, and Black integrationism. What we find is that we tend to find these 3 strains of Black thought throughout the Black world. When you go to Caribbean, you have some Black people who are Pan-Africanists. There's some Black people who are extremely conservatives, some people call them conservatives. You have some Black people who are integrationists, right? We find this throughout the world amongst Black people. And this is all a result of how particular groups of Black people respond to anti-Black racism and white hegemony.
But Black Americans are unique in a way that we quote unquote root for everybody Black in ways that the rest of the diaspora.
Well, I'm asking, can you substantiate that claim? Because I know different, because my background academically is on the subject matter. So what you're saying is adverse to facts. And I would give you an example to show you that isn't true. When Obama was elected, hold on.
Obama's okay, go.
Right, when Obama was elected, and I wasn't an Obama fan, so I'm just be quite I didn't vote for him. I wasn't an Obama guy. He was the most popular person on the continent.
I'm surprised.
He was in America too.
When Muhammad Ali was heavyweight champion, who do you think Muhammad Ali was getting all the love for when he went to Africa?
Hold on, I'm talking about America though. I'm talking about Black Americans. I'm saying Black Americans.
But you said African Americans are the only group that engages in that type of thinking, and that just isn't true.
Yeah, but you brought up Barack Obama, the first Black president, quote unquote, and Muhammad Ali. You brought up 2 celebrities. Black Americans shit for Black people regardless of who they are.
I could give more examples. When George Floyd was deleted by the police officer.
No, I don't like George Floyd because
there were Black Lives Matter rallies in several West African nations.
I hate the George Floyd because everybody was shut in on that was 2020. If people got to wait till 2020, George,
they're gonna go back to that long conversation.
My man, no. It's real quick. George, I don't like the George Floyd example. That was in 2020. If people's most earliest example for standing for Black Americans is in 2020, and you don't got nothing before that. I know, but that also was a worldwide phenomenon.
You should know better as a scholar.
You gave 2 celebrities in a worldwide phenomenon, and once again, Black Americans cheer for Black people no matter who they are. We cheer for they could pop up out of nowhere. Anywhere.
I could give you another example. There's a documentary on YouTube about a black town
in the Olympics. Okay.
Hold on,
Dr. Picard.
Let me finish.
And I'm responding. Okay, go.
There is a documentary on YouTube about a black town in Colombia, right? And the people there are the descendants of course, enslaved Africans and their descendants as a result of the transatlantic slave trade. And they stated on the when they were being interviewed that even though they're Colombian in terms of nationality, when the World Cup starts, they only root for black teams, even though they're Colombian. So with the claim that you're making, so black people are the only people who are rooting for black people, that's just not true. And like I said, if you were in community with other black people, you would know that.
Hey, Professor.
I'm in the community with black people.
It was a conversation. It was a conversation a few days ago as far as the origin of the N-word. Can you break that down? The origin of the N-word.
Let me say, I gotta go because I gotta go.
Quick. Nah, Quincy, you've been talking enough, Quincy. You gotta pass the mic. Go ahead, El.
My question. The origin of the N-word. I actually know the origin of the N-word, but I would like to get your take on that. The N-word. I'm not going to mention the N-word, but there's a word that sounds similar. I'm going to mention it. Hopefully, I don't get the tariff. But do you know the origin of the N-word?
Well, so some people try to associate it with the term Negas, which of course means king in Amharic. We're talking about Ethiopia, right? So you have some people who try to conflate and say, well, this is actually a bastardization of the term Negas, right? But we know that, of course, that term was used, particularly during, if I remember correctly, the advent of the transatlantic slave trade as a way to, of course, dehumanize Africans and their descendants in the Western world.
That's your definition. Okay, the definition I have is actually in the Bible. I think it's in the Quran, and it's in like ancient. I think it's in the Republic by Plato. And Dinus, can you look this up? The word is nigard. Hold on. Let me speak without being interrupted because my voice get muted when I go back and listen. When everybody talking, I can't even hear myself. So the word is nigard or nigardly, and it came to mind when you and the guy Quincy was talking, and he said when Elton John, the guy who got killed, his family created a Caribbean scholarship, and then that lets me know that they're stingy. That's what the word means. Niggardly is a niggard is a person who's stingy, who's selfish. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. It's in the Quran. It's in the Bible. It's in the ancient Greek literature. Look it up. A stingy person.
What language does that word come from?
I'm gonna go to real
niggardly is an adjective, or niggard is the noun. A stingy person. And that it reminded me when the Caribbeans only look out for their own self, or the Africans, but they want to share in what you have, but they don't want you to get what they got. It's like I'm not trying to be a comedian, but it's like, look it up.
Yeah. I got it. Go ahead, Dr. Lumumba. Go ahead.
So very quickly, because I know Dave wants to speak, but I want to focus on something very, very important. Back to that bench press contest, very quickly.
Go ahead.
Super chats. So what's really good? Because I'm gonna pump out 30 at least. So I want to know what we can do when that.
You ain't pumping out no 30. You ain't pumping out no 30. I got $200.
Actually,
I got $200. You will not pump out 30.
We could put 1,000 on it. And here's the thing, because I would do it with my legs up on the bench. I'm serious.
225, 30 times, legs on the bench.
Yes. Dude, I military press 220. I military press 225 for 12 reps.
All right, so okay.
So what we talking about here? We could really put some money on that, because that's something I can control.
Listen, $300. You cannot bench press with your. Hold on, let me finish. No, I'm not doing 1,000.
Thank you. Make it 500, like the UGA.
Wow. Nah. We can do the $500. We can do the $500 UGA bet. We can run that.
We can do the 500 on the bench
football
press.
Player don't want to do it.
500 on the bench press.
Let's do 500 UGA.
Here
we go. Here we go, Lumumba. This is what we're gonna do. 500 UGA.
The issue is Dinus knows that I would double whatever he do. That's the issue.
Oh, that's not true. Okay, here we go. You won't $500. You won't double whatever I do.
Go ahead, Dave.
In fact, $1,000. You won't double what I do. $1,000.
Go ahead.
Hold on, Dr. Luba. $1,000, you won't
go ahead.
double
But Dave need to speak.
Hey man, are you gonna look up the definition of the word niggard, man? This is a serious situation.
Come on, y'all.
Let's move
Please
on.
look it up, man.
Can I
It's not a joke. It's not a joke.
I gotta pass the mic. Go
I'm
ahead,
not
Dave.
joking, man.
Can I get after Dave? Can I get after Dave, please?
No, Quincy, you're done for right now. Go ahead, Dave.
I got after Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, you know what? I ain't even gonna front. That's the funniest thing I've heard in a while. I still want to know what language that word comes from, but I forgot my question. You know, I'll go to the next person. Can
I ask a question?
Go ahead, Principe.
Yeah. Overall, what Quincy was talking about earlier is that he was talking about how Africans are destiny swapping with them by acknowledging their contribution to hip hop or getting a scholarship. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. When you talk about any country, like recently the president of Ghana went to Jamaica, in order to establish a sense of kinship, he referenced the connection between the nations historically, right? Whatever contributions, whatever leader that is connected to them or whatever, they try to find a way to establish some kinship and connection through that. So the same thing is being done, and he's seeing that as an invasion of the culture. Scholarships are available to everybody. In fact, African Americans are the majority of Black people everywhere, so they could revamp, change, alter, create a quota. See, Papa, relax. They could create a quota to change who qualify for the scholarship. Y'all the majority. So his argument, his concepts don't really make sense. And to the professor, Professor Lumumba, my question is,
It's Dr. Lumumba.
Oh, doctor. I'm sorry, doctor. Relax, Papa. If we talk about Pan-Africanism, if we talk about community and organization in 2026, why is it that the majority, which is still the African American community, feels that they're threatened from the minority, which is realistically speaking, maybe even if we add up, if you include the children of the immigrants and all that kind of stuff, to maybe 10 million, but each community is like 500,000 or 1 million, 2 million, whatever. It doesn't go past 10 million. Why is 45 million threatened by equivalent of 2 million Haitians and 2 million Jamaicans and 1 million Nigerians? Why is the majority not ruling and leading and creating an agenda for Black America and foreign Black Americans that's here? What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, so the last I checked, there was 3 million Black immigrants in America, the smallest immigrant group in the country. My answer here is opinion-based. It's not based on fact or scholarship. My belief is that this is a form of social political cowardice, right? Where individuals who identify as FBA realize that they're unable to actually successfully or efficaciously combat the white supremacists and anti-Black racists who adversely create our social, political, and economic quagmire. So guess what? We're going to attack a softer target. This is analogous to, we all grew up on the playground, right? And there may be someone who's a bully. You don't challenge the bully because you may lose and it hurts your standing on the playground, right? Your credibility. So what do? You start a fight with someone that you know you can beat. To me, it's that simple.
Bullies usually have little friends that roll with them that pick on them too. So sometimes you got to knock those friends out before you get to the big bully, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, Black and West.
Man, yeah, of course. Y'all ain't knocking out the big bully. Stop it, man. Y'all ain't got no smoke for the big bully. Stop it.
Man, Black Americans don't have smoke for white people in America.
No.
Okay.
What?
All right. Okay. Cool.
All thing Black people keep doing is talk about white people. Like, there's no day in America.
Well, here's the thing: talking doesn't fill a bread basket.
Stop.
Okay. All right. Like, hey, we can agree to disagree. So yeah,
it's what matters.
Okay. So Quincy, what you're saying is, Black immigrants being the smallest minority group here in America, the smallest immigrant group. So what you're saying is, you're going to start off with them, then work your way up to Hispanics, Asians, then go for the white man for the grand finale. That's like the final.
No, that's what I'm not. No, I'm not saying any of that. What I am saying is,
sometimes you got to take out the small. You say you got to take out the bully has friends. You got to take out the small friends.
Yeah. So in that scenario, yes, white supremacy has a bunch of little subordinates that's been also anti-Black American, and those subordinates also include African and Caribbean immigrants.
Okay, so Quincy, so my question,
truth,
Quincy, is so Quincy, are you saying the strategy is you guys going to work your way up the ladder? That's what you're saying?
No, you're saying that. I'm saying all could be addressed at the same time. All could be addressed at the same time. We just started talking. We just started talking about Black immigrants not even 10 years ago.
My question is, what is being done beyond talking? What is being done beyond talking?
Okay, so the
hold on, I got one. I got one. Dr. Lumumba, the scholarship that he doesn't want to tell us about. That's one. We'll throw that in there.
Okay, well, hey, it is what it is. That's that. Okay, cool.
The scholarship you don't want to tell us about.
So look, I'm not a big fan of her personally, but that ADOS organization is making moves in California, definitely up in New York. Hey, they're making moves down here in Atlanta.
What moves they making here in California, man? Because I'm from here, man.
Dude, they just had those. They just had those two proposals. They just had those two proposals that the CBC shot down after they put all that work in. So we getting hit on all front.
Wait.
It was two. Hold on, I don't remember the exact names, but it was two proposals regarding. Hold on. No, you spoke about it, Dinus, about the CBC in LA.
That wasn't the ADOS, but that wasn't the Yvette Carpenter ADOS led proposal.
That wasn't.
What was her name? What was that lady's name?
LA, man. I live here, man.
What was that lady? Jamila? Was it Jamila Moore?
Quincy, the whatever.
Was it Jamila Moore?
But again, it wasn't an ADOS Yvette Carnell led proposal.
Okay, it wasn't, but it was a Black American doing it though. So y'all keep trying to put it on ADOS and FBA.
You just said ADOS. You said that, Quincy.
You know what? I did. Hold on, let me take it back. I did. I shouldn't have said. I shouldn't have said it. He said Black Americans, and that was my first thought.
Cleaned up than his shit.
Yeah.
Can I ask another question?
My argument way more cleaned up than his shit. To be honest,
can I ask another question?
Hold on, real deal financial. But go ahead. So Quincy, that's right. So Quincy,
I cut real deal off, so he should go first.
So when it comes to me, I'm not focusing on Caribbeans and Africans because, like they said, it's 3 million. We got to deal with 15 million illegal Hispanic, anti-Black, and also white passing foreigners. So when it comes to me, I look at the African and the Caribbean. Man, that's a non-issue. You got to deal with people that has cornered the market here in California, cornered the market in Texas, where Black people, no matter if you're a Black American or Black foreigner, that can't be able to get certain positions in certain realms of industry: blue collar, trucking, manufacturing, warehousing, nursing, etc.
You gotta fight Democrats for that, bro. You gotta fight Democrats.
The Black diaspora, the Black African, the Nigerian. I have no problem with the Nigerian because he's on code with his people and his people only. The Caribbean, he's on code with his people and his people only. The problem is us FBAs vote stupid. We allow everybody in the entire planet to come in, then we think we're going to get something done by going after 3 million while ignoring the 15 million undocumented Hispanic anti-Black foreigners. Some of this shit don't make sense. The FBA shit, I get it. You guys try to be Black American nationalists, but we got even other groups that are way more devious, way more treacherous. I've yet to hear an African firebomb a Black American's house, but I know plenty of stories of that anti-Black Hispanic firebombing Black people's houses. And I use my mic because, I'm not a Pan-Africanist, but damn it, I ain't going to act like that African has been the biggest hurdle in areas where Black people reside in either.
Hey, why do you think it's taboo for Black Americans to speak out about the racism that they get from Hispanics, especially in LA and Florida?
Because the Democrats tie us in with Black and Brown coalition, and if we call it out, then that means that they can't be able to win elections based off of coalition-based politics. Simple as that. Cool.
Right. So that's why I said we got to fight Democrats before we can even tackle Hispanics. Because
let's tackle the Democrats. Let's tackle the Democrats instead of the African. Because Dinus Amir is not affecting nor hurting me as a Black American.
I'm Black American too. I'm Black American. Real deal.
It's 50 million people. we could take on multiple tasks at the same time.
The Democratic Party got our men wearing dresses. The African don't tolerate that shit. When Obama went to Kenya and little Kenyatta said, "Man, hell no, get the fuck out with this L. Gibbets." The L. Gibbets agenda.
So let me ask this question.
Stand up on it. Black Americans ain't standing up on these damn agendas. At least Africans want to say, "This ain't our culture. Fuck y'all."
Let me ask this question to the panel. Why do many of you identify as Black American rather than African American?
Let me start.
I asked that question because I think I'm one of the few people who on this, probably the only person on this panel who identifies as an African American rather than a Black American. So
I identify as African American. I use African American and Black American interchangeably.
It's Dr. Dinus, not Professor.
You're right, Dr. Lumumba. You're right. Put your respect on your name, Dr. Lumumba.
I earned that. Listen, because this title was earned.
You're right.
It took me 6 years. 6. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. It took me 6 years.
Respect.
Dr.
Respect.
Lumumba.
And the anti-Black misandry I faced in the academy.
I heard about that.
He's really Black-minded, and I don't think someone like him should have a PhD. And when I had somebody on my committee at an institution I won't name trying to sabotage me making it through my comprehensive exams, and the person wasn't Black. They weren't a Black immigrant. They weren't from the West Indies. They were pink toe.
Like I said, respect to it. Respect to it.
Can I ask the doctor a question real quick?
He asked the question.
Well, like I said, it's for me, and this is the last go around. So for me, it's interchangeable. Dr. Lumumba.
Okay.
Black American, African American. I use them both.
Okay, I'm gonna answer. Then I got, since we're about to close out, I'm gonna answer that. At this point, honestly, I say Black American is nothing against Africa, but for lack of better words, when you say Jamaican, that point to Jamaicans. When you say Ghanaians, that point to Ghanaians. When you say African American, that as it stands today, we know who it was meant for, but we also, if we're going to be honest, we know that it's a lot of people trying to blur the lines of what it means so they can slip in and out of it when it's to their benefit.
There's no evidence to substantiate.
Okay. And that goes into my last, I promise, my closeout point, right? There, and this is no disrespect to you, doctor, right? This is just something I noticed being in the Pan-African spaces ever since this whole Africa delineation movement, journey of mine. There's an assumption that because people are educated and they got degrees, that they are also honest, right? But the thing is, before you're honest, you're human, and humans have biases, you have tendencies, and you're just human. So that means that if you get some information, you're not just going to spit it back out like a robot as is. It's going to go through your biases. It's going to go through, your experiences, or whatnot, and it's going to come out, the way it comes from you based on what you read, right? And just from what I've witnessed, and
go right ahead.
So you're not human with human biases?
I'm objective with my research.
Okay.
And actually, when you go through a tenure, when you go through a process to become receive a terminal degree, you have to do independent research. And when you do independent research, you have to go over an entire IRB process to where you remove where there's facts where you have people checking to make sure that you don't instill your bias into one's research.
Okay, and that's great. And with all that being said, you're still human and you still have biases, right? And like I said,
he still completely skipped over that.
I'm saying, but look, because he's a Pan-African, and I'm gonna tell you straight up. Lastly, it's because I gave that Martin Luther King. I'm sorry, I gave that Malcolm X example earlier about how much I hear about him being Grenadian, and people omit his Black American father when they speak about him, right? So that's just one example of people who do know the history, and who are these people? No. But Pan-Africanists tend to prioritize defending Africa or prioritizing Africa over ensuring that everything you said on this panel tonight is in defense. I'm not saying you're not well read. I'm not saying you don't know what you know.
The reason why is because you were making
you're in defense.
Adverse to facts. Because you were making
no. Now, no. Nothing I said wasn't facts. And I asked you questions. You mentioned the guy who was deleted by the police officer in Dallas, and you brought up the fact that he created a scholarship specifically for Caribbean. His people.
I said that's legit. That's a legitimate gripe. I didn't cosplay and say, oh no, that's okay. What's the problem? I said that's a legitimate gripe. So I was being objective. But if you say something in that sense, I'm going to push back.
My God, hold on. Look. We all have biases. And Pan-Africanists, they prioritize Africa. It just is what it is. And
that's not true. I even agreed with creating ethnic-based scholarships for African Americans. I combat the misinformation about Pan-Africanism. That's what I do. Every time I meet someone who's opposed to Pan-Africanism, they're always making claims that are ahistorical and adverse to facts. That's the issue that I have. That's why I stated before. I demystified Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism, you ain't got to go to Africa. All you got to do is work with black people wherever you are, irrespective of one's nationality and ethnicity, to improve our conditions.
My God, you yourself said that you was over Martin Luther King program or something like that, and you was giving it to anybody black. Come on.
And why? Because it was a black cultural center, not an African American cultural center.
It's a black culture center in America, man. Like, come on, if you got all the degrees, you know that black in America don't mean black in America don't mean black American.
Quincy. It don't work like that, Quincy.
So black in America don't mean black American? Black in America don't mean black American.
My dissertation is on black cultural centers. I have reviewed all of these scholarly literature on black cultural centers and why they were created.
Let me ask you one last question.
Period.
So what would you call the group of people that descend from slavery in this country that's only our name, that only points to us, that nobody else, not the diaspora, not Caribbean? What would you call us? What label is only for us? Or do you even feel like we should have a label that only points to us?
Yes, I use the term African American.
That doesn't only points to us. Even by definition, if you're a scholar, it's anybody. That's anybody.
African American is a term used by African people who were enslaved in America, who cannot identify a particular country in Africa as their place of origin, so they have to identify the continent. Jamaican American.
Where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that from?
I'm sorry.
What dictionary are you getting that definition from?
I'm getting it from a couple sources. One, Introduction to Black Studies by Dr. Milana Karinga.
So it's not Webster.
Black Americans by Dr. Neil Irving Painter. She's a professor at Princeton University. Right.
What does the United States? Hold on. What does the United States recognize? Not the people you read. What does the United States recognize? What's the United States definition on paper? You're referring to some scholars or some book you read. When the United States says African American, who are they speaking of? On paper, the United States.
Black people who are descendants of slavery in America.
That ain't even true. That ain't even true. And that's what I mean by having biases. You can't even be honest about that one little thing because that ain't even
true. When you look at the census, when you look at the Department of Justice, it would say Black or African American. This is what the government uses. It would say Black or African American. This is what's on the census. This is what the Department of Justice use for crime statistics. So if you could give me another example that the government uses other than Black,
the government says anybody in America, American citizen with African ancestry. That's what it says.
So where did you get that from?
Well, that was off the top of my head. But even if you Google African American definition,
I provided you a source.
Hold on. What do you want me to do? You want me to do Webster Dictionary? What do you want me to do?
I said the census. We're talking about the government, so I'm asking for the census. I provided the census and the Department of Justice as two reputable sources to substantiate my claim. I'm asking you to provide a reputable source to substantiate your claim from the United States government.
Give me 2 seconds to. Okay, look. The federal government defines Black or African American through the Office of Management and Budget Standards used by the Census Bureau. It refers to a person having origins in any Black racial groups of Africa.
Black or African.
Hey, Dr. Lumumba, he might be right. He might be right.
Like, see, look, that's what I'm saying. He got biases. You have biases, man. Like, just be honest. It's okay. You're human. You're human. It's okay.
Black refers to a Black person. African American refers specifically to African Americans.
Everybody got biases, and even
African American.
You won't even be honest and say that African American, which it was supposed to be just for us in America, but as it has evolved, because according to you, we are still prisoners to the construct from 60 years ago. We're still using that same language.
Even anything you said that.
No, well, okay, yeah, I'm
then
saying
why
that you
do people call themselves Nigerian American or something else if African American is the catch-all for all Africans that are in America? Like, That's what I don't understand, right? When it's Jamaican Americans, it's Jamaican Americans. When it's Nigerian Americans, it's Nigerian Americans. When it's Kenyan Americans, it's Kenyan Americans. So why would they suddenly become the name of an ethnic group that they are not a part of?
Because it's to their benefit to identify as African American. That's
no,
why.
it's not about benefits. It's not about like
it's African or West Indians claiming to be African Americans.
Hold on. I'm gonna keep it a buck with both of y'all. All right. There was a no, I'm not gonna say it, but I'm telling you, it was some I'm telling y'all, it was a whole discussion from two of the highest ranked HBCUs amongst their alumni about African American. And I'm telling you that both Caribbean and African second gen was in there, giving their definition, saying that they identify as African American. And I think, like I said,
what were the name of these college presidents?
No. This is students. This is I'm sorry, not students. Alumni, alum discussing it amongst each other.
What institutions did they attend?
I'm not saying that because I said the top three. Go Google it and you can just put one and two together.
Lord have mercy.
So, hey,
I'm having a discussion about racial identification or ethnic identification.
If I'm not going to substantiate something, I don't make the claim.
I know, but even in this instance, you want to be honest and say that African American doesn't mean what it was supposed to mean. As it stands today, it means anybody black with U.S. citizenship.
They don't identify. They say they're Kenyan American, Nigerian American, Asian American, Senegalese American. That's the reality.
My God, so you've never seen a second gen African immigrant say that they're African American? You've never seen that?
I've never witnessed this in my life.
Okay, you know what? See, everybody, they never see this stuff. It is amazing that y'all never see it. It is amazing.
The closest I've ever.
This is amazing.
Was an individual.
This is an amazing coincidence. This is amazing.
African American.
Oh my God!
I'm not being.
Never seen it.
I'm not.
Yeah, but hey guys, we gotta close out. Everyone, thanks so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Till next time, family. That is Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.
Ohio State.